Something like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show, weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media, and you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead and hit that like button, because you already know what time it is, and you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've seen other people do it well. But what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this. And it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out. Share it through your social media. Share it through word of mouth, or even text on one's phone. But do what you've got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, today we are here to talk about what I believe is going to be a very interesting show. Okay, y'all, and I did make a mistake. I was supposed to do something else today, and I realized at the last moment that I didn't have that one set and ready to go like I wanted it to, so I had to hurry up, scramble, and switch. But, you know, things happen sometimes. So I scrambled to switch, but this still gonna be good, okay? So we're gonna get into this, y'all. Women's excuses, y'all. Women's excuses, all right? Now, before we go heavy into this, let me first give a shout out to people who, you know, they help this become what it is, y'all. They help this show become what it is, all right? And that's real talk. And I got to give a shout. I'm giving a shout out to everybody who gives views to the channel, because, you know, I got regular folks who come through and they give views, and it does help. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Shout out to all the people who make comments after the stream, because that helps with the algorithm. Shout out to everybody hitting the like button, y'all. Remember, hit that like button. It doesn't make a difference how long the stream was done. Just hit the like button anyway. And shout out to the people who become financial contributors. because of course I cannot do this the same way without those folks. You know, people who make financial contributions, they just go to the next level with it. And I appreciate every single one of them. And I do want them to get their props. And I want to say shout out to my main man, Torenzo Jones. He is the sponsor of today's stream. Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate the continued support. Appreciate the continued support. That's big time, y'all. Can't say that stuff enough. Can't say it enough. So thank you to everyone. And y'all, let me say, let me give us a shout out to a few of the people who checked in this morning. Now I know because I made a mistake and I had to switch stuff up that y'all couldn't see until that very last moment. So I'm gonna say today, the Highlander of today's stream was, you know, back in the video game days, I used to say, you know, you got to be quick on the stick. So it was who's really looking out first, because everything came at the last moment on today's show. So shout out to the Highlander of today's stream, my main man, Tunnel Runner. He spotted what was popping first. So shout out to Tunnel Runner. Okay, I know everybody was looking, but Tunnel Runner found it first. So shout out to you, Tunnel Runner. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Shout out to Nice Sometimes. Great to see you, my brother. Great to see you. Always glad to see you, brother. Always glad to see you. My main man, Trail Bentley, representing. Hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Hashtag Negroes in the wilderness. Hashtag dignity over vagina. Hashtag Al Gore's babies. And my personal favorite, hashtag Hell Hydra. And even though, you know, it's a quick little bait and switch, shout out to my main man, the pit master himself. Quick, he's quick, y'all. Chef Mike's Roundtable is in the building. The soup is on, as they say, y'all. The soup is on. Good to have you. Sarah B. Hey, Sarah. Always great to see you. Always great to see you. You know, fantastic. So fresh, so clean is in the house. Great to see you. Shout out to Inspired Truth Broadcast. Good to see you as well. We got Chris W. in the building. My main man, Afro Merchant, is here. Watch in the Man Cave is also in the house. Great to see y'all. Great to see y'all. I'm sorry about the quote unquote bait and switch at the last minute, y'all. I didn't realize stuff to the last second. And as they say, the show must go on. So I had to, you know, retune some things immediately. And boom, here we go, y'all. Here we go. Didn't plan on doing this show today, but it's still going to be a great show anyway. We're going to deal with women's excuses. Okay. And y'all know that black women have a lot of excuses about why they can't do right. Okay. There was a link in the description already. It was a real small one though, so I thought people could, you know, we could deal with this right away, because other people are starting to notice stuff that I promoted a while back. Okay. When it comes to the overall black community, you have women who want certain things out of men. You have men who want certain things out of women. And as I've said y'all before, the things that men want, which seems like somebody else finally noticed, men ask for stuff that's free. We ask for stuff that's free, y'all. Okay? I done went to and fro looking for what black men want. Okay, I know this is something people never really pay attention to. People don't really ask. So I did the research myself, y'all. I did the research myself. And there are 3 basic things that every black man wants. Now, there's things that are in addition to these 3 things. Okay. There are things that you can give in addition, but there's 3 basic things that you got to have for a black man to be cool with you. Okay. And, you know, I know what the 3 things that women want. Okay. Now, this is the thing, y'all. Women want men to be leaders, protectors, and providers. Now, that's how you do it from a healthy standpoint. Now, a lot of women, they just say they want to protect them and provide. A lot of black women, you will never hear them say the word leader. Now, I have infected the system out here enough that I've actually heard I know I heard at least one woman actually say leader, protector, and provider. You know what I'm saying? I've heard one woman say it at this particular point. I'm not saying the other women ain't heard me say some things. They just ain't ready to say it yet. Because in the Black community, America being the way it is and being so anti-Black men, promoting Black men be leaders is not something that the American society does. And a lot of Black women are going to be very, very resistant to that idea. So them saying leaders, protectors, and providers, that's going to be a huge leap. But I have seen one woman who's actually a content creator actually say it. Okay, now y'all might be saying, well, what does that mean? Look, y'all, I started doing this in 2018. We in 2025. I done heard one woman say it. Okay, I heard one woman say it. I ain't saying somebody else didn't say it. I'm just saying what I heard. Okay. But when it comes to men want three basic things, man. We want loyalty, we want good character, we want good company. Now, again, there's a lot of other things you can add to that, but you want those three. And you know what? Being loyal costs how much money? Absolutely zero. Okay? Absolutely zero. All right? It's literally free. Being a person of good character, how much does that cost? Again, the price is zero. It costs women $0 to be a woman of good character. $0, okay? So I don't care how broke she is. I don't care how rich she is. She can't afford it because it costs zero, okay? And there's a critical thing about being good company, okay? Because, we don't want people around each other. They can't stand each other, What's the use of a woman you can't stand being in the same room with? Now, being good company, some people think it's a little more expensive, but you know what it actually costs? It costs $0, y'all. It costs $0, okay? It costs $0, okay? Real talk, $0. So I don't care what kind of background she got. I don't care who her mama is. I don't care if she ain't never even met her daddy. It costs $0 to be a woman who is good company. It costs $0 to be a woman of good character. And it costs $0 to be loyal. And that's what Black men want, y'all. I've done the research. Okay, I've done the research. Now, again, y'all, there's things you can add to that, and depending upon what you add, it becomes more fitting to a particular Black man. But all the Black men want loyalty, good character, and good company. They all want that. That's your foundational piece. Okay, all right. But it's Black women in certain positions that somehow they just can't seem to do it like they need to do it. Okay, I don't care what's going on. It's just something goes on with it. It's like they act like they have an inability to do it. Now, shout out to Night. Sometimes I see a comment by him that's a little wordy. I'm gonna see what it says real quick. Shout out to Night. Sometimes he says, Roger, just wanted to thank everyone for y'all prayers. Yesterday, I was cleared of 9 false #MeToo felony charges. Yesterday in Alameda, California, 5 years. I can get back, but it's over now. Freeman, brother, shout out to you, man. Nice sometimes. Congratulations, man. I'm glad to hear that it's finally over with, brother. That's definitely a cause for celebration. Man, I'm glad to hear that it's finally over, man. Congratulations, man. I'm glad you can finally put that, well, at least start to put that behind you and get back on track and you're unscathed, brother. Hey, man, shout out to you, man. My fist is high in the air for you right now. Shout out to you, brother. Congratulations. Definitely glad to hear that. Definitely glad to hear that, man. Real talk. Definitely glad to hear that. Y'all, you got to celebrate the victories. You got to celebrate the small victories. You got to celebrate, but y'all, that's a big one right there. Y'all, congratulate nice sometimes, y'all. That's a big victory right there. That's a big victory. We got to celebrate the small ones, but that's a big victory. It's over with now, so they can't come at them again no more. Real talk. Glad to hear that, brother. Glad to hear that. Okay, you know. Man, I know that's got to feel good, brother. I know that's got to feel good. All right, now getting back on track, y'all. Getting back on track. You know, did a last minute show, had to do some last minute things. Who is a black woman that has been in position to be a fantastic wife for a black man? Okay. What black woman has been in great position to be a fantastic wife for a black man? Y'all, I've said plenty of times that life is not fair, and we need to get past our own egos sometimes. And that's a real hard thing for a lot of black women. They just can't get past that ego. Okay. You know, sometimes we as men, we struggle with it too, but these women in that ego, boy, that ego is something else. That ego is something else. But, you know, life isn't fair. Some people have advantages that other people do not. So guess what, y'all? There has been a woman who has been in fantastic position to be a great helpmeet to a man. All right. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. You know, she fine. If you don't think she fine, something wrong with you at the end of the day. She fine. She been fine. Okay. Okay. A woman is famous. Okay. You know, certain things that have they're going in her life, you know, people question certain things, you know, when it comes to her mom, but her mom is not her. Okay. People haven't held it against her. You know, the rumors about her mama. Okay. People ain't held that against her. She been able to go to and fro. She done had the lights on her, the cameras on her. You know, folks know who she is. You know, has she ever worked a real job in her life? Probably not. Never heard about it. You know, did she ever have to? Did she? Was she in high school and working at McDonald's? Or did she work at KFC? Did she work at Chipotle? You know, did she do a little time in Subway? You know, no, not that I know of. Anyway, I'm gonna say not that I know. I've never heard she had that situation. And shout out to people in the chat. I see a couple other examples people throwing out there. Well, my main man KF3905 is throwing some names out there of some black women who done been in great position for a long time. Okay, y'all. I snatched the picture up real quick. Okay. What woman that had all the advantages, but for somehow don't end up with a good husband? Okay, what woman that had all the advantages, man? Oh, and I ain't gonna say every single advantage, but man, she done had a lot of them, y'all. She done had a lot of them. Okay, the lovely, beautiful. You know, I mean, I believe she's got to be talented at something. I believe she actually owns some companies now, or at least one company. I believe she owns at least one company at this point. Shout out to Lori Harvey, y'all. Yep, the Lori Harvey, a beautiful black woman who's been in the American spotlight for a good amount of years now. And she got into the spotlight when she was kind of young, because she ain't that old now. She's still under 30, to my understanding. She's still under 30, so she ain't that old now. And she was with, you know what I'm saying? She was with the quote unquote that dude, yo. You know, Hollywood has a guy that's that dude. Okay. You know, That dude used to be Sidney Poitier. Okay. That's who that dude was, y'all. Sidney Poitier. Okay. Great representative. You know what I'm saying? That dude was Denzel Washington, y'all. Denzel Washington, man. He was that dude. Real talk. That dude, you know. Another ruthless, nice guy. You know, shout out to Denzel. Okay. Y'all know Will Smith was that dude. Okay. That dude. All right. Real talk. And I'm going to say of more recent, that dude was Michael B. Jordan, y'all. Michael B. Jordan. Now, I named these men. Okay. These men. It's only 4 of them. You can only so many women gonna ever get a chance to be with these men. And the latest one, Michael B. Jordan, she actually had access to Michael B. Jordan. Not only did she have access to Michael B. Jordan, she was able to somehow cultivate a relationship with Michael B. Jordan. All right. So you talk about a woman with advantages. She got the beauty. She famous because of her stepfather, you know, Steve Harvey. All right. I even heard that she has her own company. She got at least one company. Okay. At least one company. Okay. She ain't broke. She decent. You know what I'm saying? Having good character is free. Being of good company is free. Being loyal is free. And then you was with Michael B. Jordan. Okay. A juggernaut in Hollywood at this particular point. What more you need, man? What more you need? Okay. What more do you need? But could she hold on to that? Was she able to, with all those advantages, able to secure a husband? Well, nope, she couldn't. She couldn't. She still hasn't. And I said, and y'all, you know, shout out to all the people who seen some of the channels I had. Y'all, if y'all know my history, I didn't have a few different channels more than a few channels knocked down. Okay. But I said before, if she ever gets married, the person she married is not going to be doing as well as Michael B. Jordan. And I'm saying, even if, let's say Michael B. Jordan fall off or something, you know, something happened to her. I'm saying if she ever gets married, if it ever actually happens, okay, when she gets married, this is going to be the issue. All right. The man she's married is not going to be at the level that Michael B. Jordan is. And whatever time period this happens, at the time that she was with Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan was doing well when she was with him. So whoever her future husband is, he's not going to be doing as good as Michael B. Jordan was at that particular time. And I'm saying that because, you know, things like inflation happen and all that type of stuff. Whenever she gets married, if she possibly can. Now, I don't know if she ever going to make it happen. You know, but I will say this. She looks good enough that I do think somebody will do it. I do think somebody will do it. But, you know, it is what it is. And shout out to Moses. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. Okay. I guess it seemed to me like maybe it's a French name or something that is, you're probably not, maybe not pronounced exactly like it's spelled. But shout out to you, Moses. He said, I think this your 11th channel, Roger, if I remember correctly. Well, I'm gonna say I ain't gonna dwell in the past, but you know it's been a few that I lost. So I've already predicted that when she gets married, if it ever happens, that guy will not be doing as well as Michael B. Jordan was when at the time Michael B. Jordan was dealing with her. So women can have all these different advantages. You know, y'all can't say that Lori Harvey was ugly. We can't say she was fat. She ain't got a bunch of kids. And you know what she didn't have? A bunch of debt. All the things that describe what I call black girl ugly. You know, she didn't have those things. Well, she obviously had one of them. I'll say this, y'all. She obviously had one of the problems that come with black girl ugly. If y'all don't know what black girl ugly, that's a woman with a bunch of debt. That's a woman with too many kids. That's a woman who has too much weight. Which we all know those were not Lori Harvey's problems. But what's the other problem? The attitude, y'all. The attitude. And the only thing I can surmise at this particular point is that was the one. The main one that black men can't stand. The attitude. Okay? She just had an attitude where a marriage don't work for a woman like that. But she's beautiful. Now, this is the thing, y'all. Black women have a lot of excuses. Okay? Men give black women excuses. Women give black women excuses. And, you know, it just is what it is. They do it. Okay? They do it. Now, we live in America, y'all. For those of us who live here, and shout out to all my people listening around the world. We have certain freedoms here. Women can pretty much be what they want to be here. Now, I know if you don't know no better, if you don't actually know what's going on in society, you would think America's doing something to hold women back at some large level, but it's not. Women are given all types of programs and grant monies and all kinds of stuff so they can do what they want to do. So why is it that black women can't seem to be good enough for a man to marry them? Even Lori Harvey couldn't make it, y'all. Even Lori Harvey couldn't get it done. And I know there would be some women who don't really think about it well. Okay. And shout out to Moses Etienne. Okay. I hope I'm saying, is that how I go? Etienne. Okay. I see Inspired True Broadcast say it's French. So I just looked at it. I knew it was I knew it was one of those names that ain't quite like it's spelled. Okay. I just knew. But shout out to you, Moses. Appreciate you. And you know what? Shout out to you, because obviously you've been hanging around long enough to know I done had more than a few channels knocked down. Okay. So I definitely appreciate you, brother. Definitely appreciate you. All right. Now, yeah, my thing is this, y'all. Why is it that we make a bunch of excuses for black women? Because and like I said, people who don't think about it, they'll say, well, the rumor mill said that Lori Harvey broke up with him. Okay, they'll say that as if that's somehow helpful to Lori Harvey. That's not a good thing. See, that means Lori Harvey was in a relationship with a man long enough for him to be comfortable to propose, but she said no. That doesn't make for an intelligent woman. Okay? Because why would you spend that much time around the man to get him comfortable for him to propose to you, and then you say no? Okay? At the end of the day, women who do stuff like that, it is what it is, y'all. I'm just gonna say snakes move in certain ways. It is what it is, y'all. Snakes move in certain ways. Now, I don't know Lori Harvey. I'm not gonna say that she's a quote unquote snake, but if you look at the evidence, you know what I'm saying? If you look at the evidence, you can see certain things going on there. Why would you want a man to be comfortable enough with you to propose and you don't even want him to marry you? That's crazy work. Okay? That's crazy work. And y'all know if Lori Harvey ain't married later on down the road, 10 years from today, if she not married and she dare say something about making an issue with men that she wasn't married, I'm just gonna laugh. Real talk, y'all. I'm just gonna laugh. Because I don't know what else could have happened right for you to get you a nice husband. You had the looks, you had the fame. You know, you got a stepfather that put you out there the way you wanted to be put out there. You know, uh, you got with that dude when it comes to Hollywood. What else could you ask for at the end of the day? But see, this is the thing, y'all. A lot of women, they just don't do right by men because when it comes to a black man, a lot of them just don't value black men. It has nothing to do with black men. All right, let's think about it, y'all. With all the stuff that we done heard women talking about Michael B. Jordan, why would you not marry him? I'm just saying, a random black woman should be ready to marry somebody like a Michael B. Jordan. Do you actually need to know the guy? Not really. Because what do we know about Michael B. Jordan? Seeing that he's been famous, yeah, he's looked good from a public standpoint as far as what he's been out doing, what he's been getting interviewed and all that type of stuff, right? Michael B. Jordan has no bad history that anybody can point out. He is a rich guy. He is going to continue to make movies in Hollywood. He can provide some type of lifestyle that a woman should be able to simply enjoy. If she wants to be a stay-at-home wife, she definitely can be. It don't take much thinking when it comes to somebody in his position. Okay, it really don't take much. But if a man has a daughter, what do you really need to know about Michael B. Jordan to feel comfortable that your daughter's gonna marry him? What do you really need to, what do you really need? All you really need to know is, about his character. He already famous. We know his financial status and all that type of stuff. So it ain't a whole lot to think about. But Lori somehow couldn't make it work. Now, my thing is, this is not just a Lori thing. Black women in general have issues making stuff work out with black men. It's that simple at the end of the day. Even though it should be very easy to do in this particular country, they have problems. And this is the thing that happens to y'all. We as men and we as women, we make a bunch of excuses for black women. How are black women not good enough to marry in America, y'all? This is something people never really want to actually even think about. I ain't gonna even say answer, because you got to think about the question before you give an answer to the question. But y'all, why aren't black women good enough to marry? Just from a general standpoint, why aren't they good enough to marry? And everybody who says that black women are good enough to marry, I'm gonna tell you, you're stupid or you're wrong. You're a liar. If a woman's good enough to marry, she gets married. Okay? You don't have a bunch of older women who is worthy of marriage and they're not married. Okay? Men do not leave great women on the market too long. When I say a woman should be married by 22 years old, I'm keeping it real. Because if you on the market, you got to think about this, y'all. You're an 18-year-old woman. You live in America. You have graduated high school and you've had your 18th birthday. Once those two things come together, a good woman is going to be pursued by men. Point blank, period. If she look good, okay, she knows how to carry herself, men going to pursue her. Just is what it is. And a man understands a marriageable woman is going to be hard to find. So what is he going to do? He's going to get in a relationship with her, and he's going to do what he can to make her comfortable enough, to make her good. And he's going to ask to marry her, and he's going to take her off the market because he's going to know good and well he's not really going to have that great an opportunity to meet another marriageable black woman. Men know this. It's not a mystery to us. Meeting a black woman worth marrying is just hard to run into. It's very hard to run into, and men know this. Black women can say whatever they want to say, but men know that most black women are not marriageable. Okay? It's going down this way in other countries too. Just is what it is. Okay? Shout out to Mr. T. He says, listening from the UK, good show. Hey, appreciate you, Mr. T. Appreciate you. Real talk. I appreciate everybody listening outside of America. Okay. Don't ever think I ain't thinking about y'all, because I think about y'all too. So shout out to Mr. T and everyone who's outside of America listening. And I know there's places that you can do similar things to America. I'm not going to say it's the exact same, but there are places that have similar problems because they have similar setups. Okay, so when a black man runs into a black woman who's worth marrying, what does he do? He wants to marry her, which means what? A lot of women gonna get married around that age of 22 if they're good women. We're not leaving those on the market for somebody else to get. We're not doing it. Okay, it's just that simple. You meet you a nice looking woman and she's marriage material. You 18, 19, 20 years old. You ain't leaving that on the market. Even young men figure this out. You ain't got to be 30, 35, 40. You figure it out when you young. Man, I got to propose to my girl. I don't know what y'all talking about. That's what a dude gonna say. Okay? I don't know what y'all talking. They don't let issues come up that don't make sense and have nothing to do with marriage. They don't let the fact that they don't own a house stop him from marrying her. Now, this is my high school sweetheart. I'm taking her off the market. But you ain't got no house. So what? You ain't completed college. So what? Okay? You ain't traveled yet. So what? Okay? You ain't did this, you ain't did that. So what? We like a woman, she's marriageable. We're going to ask her to marry us. That's just what it is, y'all. So if you're a young woman and you ain't nobody asked to marry, ain't nobody asked to marry you, you're not as good as you think you are. And that's real talk. Okay. You can ride with that from 18 to 22. But if you hitting those ages where you getting past 22 years old, ain't nobody trying to marry you, you're not as good as you think you are. You want to believe you good, but you're obviously not, because men marry good women. Yes, y'all, men marry good women. If you've never been married, you're not a good woman. Now, your job is to become a good woman. If you actually want to get married one day, you got to become a good woman. But if ain't nobody asked to marry you, you're not a good woman. It is what it is, y'all. All right. So the thing is, y'all, a lot of women are going to continue to have trouble getting married because we make excuses for them. We make a lot of excuses for women. Okay. You ain't got to be rich. You ain't got to be famous. Okay. Lori Harvey, just a person I can use real quick that people can recognize. But you ain't got to be rich and you got to be famous. What does it really take for a black man in America to marry a woman? It don't take that much. So if ain't nobody trying to do it, you're clearly not a good woman. Plus, every other man in this country has access to black women. Okay. White men have access to black women. Hispanic men have access to black women. Asian men have access to black women. Whatever kind of man you can think about, he has access to black women. And black women say yes to those men without issues. Okay? Most black women, truth be told, want to be with any other kind of man other than a black man. And I'm talking FBA, y'all. If you are a man from Africa, okay, say you Nigerian or something, she would choose a Nigerian man over an FBA man in a minute. Okay? And you can say anybody, any black man from any other country, she gonna pick him first. Real talk, y'all. If Idris Elba was just a regular dude, okay, he's not a movie star, he's just a regular dude. You staying next to Idris Elba, you know, once he started talking with that accent, it's over with. If she got to pick between two men, you know, it's over with. You could be the same height as him, okay. You could be the exact same skin tone, the whole enchilada. Once that man start talking, she gonna recognize, oh, you're not an FBA black man. I want him. And I'm not saying black men need to be offended by this. This is just the reality when it comes to the general population of black women in America, who are what? FBA black women. They're gonna pick the other thing first. So the thing is, they will pick any other man quicker than a FBA black man, yet they're still not married, which means the other men aren't picking them. And I'm not saying that to throw it in women's faces. What I'm saying is there should be no question on if black women are good enough to marry or not. It shouldn't be in question. They're just not. Because they will take any other man. And you still got less than 30% of black women that are married when they will take any other man. So you can't look at black men and make this dumb argument. A lot of women make a dumb argument, say, oh, the black man ain't good enough, which is not true. They'll make that dumb argument, but at the end of the day, they got all these other guys to pick from. They won't pick them. So it ain't us, clearly. Okay? It ain't us. Okay? It is what it is. Hot sauce, I got you, brother. He said, where the link? I ain't put the link in, but like I said, y'all, I had to change the show real quick. So I didn't put a link when I rushed because this wasn't what I was planning on dealing with today, but we dealing with it now. I got you, hot sauce. Give me a second. So why aren't black women good enough? People make a lot of excuses for them. Now, you'll always be able to make an excuse. Should we accept excuses as valid, though? Should we accept excuses as valid? Again, y'all, life ain't fair. Some people are going to get things that other people ain't going to get. Why can't black women just overcome their deficiencies and be good enough for marriage? Black men have to overcome their deficiencies. So why can't she overcome her deficiencies? You know? I don't see the big deal. Black men got a lot to deal with when it comes to America. Okay? When we're 18 and we've got our high school diploma, we still got to go get a job. Or you join the military. Or you can further your education by, you can go get you can go to college or some form of trade school. Or you go to the military, shout out to the brothers who was able to start their own business. We got to go make stuff happen. We don't get to just sit around and make excuses. Okay, we have to go out into a world that don't like us and get positive, real world results. That's what we have to do. So we have to perform no matter what. Why are people just so quick to make excuses for black women? Again, I'm not saying they ain't had stuff they had to deal with. They have. Okay. I'm not saying they may, in the future, they ain't going to have nothing to deal with. They will. But at the end of the day, y'all, black women have been coddled. Now they say that about black men. I've seen black women say, black men get coddled. Where? You must be talking about some other country because that ain't what's going on in America. And that's real talk. That ain't what's going on here. All right. Now, we got our first guest up. Give me 1 second, brother. Boom. Boom. All right. I'm gonna let him go ahead and chime in wherever he wants. He still has the name. Nigga, your fingers ain't broke. You can chime in wherever you like on this subject, my brother. Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
So for those who don't know, this is how Michelle talks to Barack at home. So I think there's a couple things going on here. Number one, women were not raised on how to treat a man, how to be with a man, and how to take care of a man, right? Most of us grew up in single parent homes. So while black men know how to treat a woman, take care of a woman via the mom, right? They didn't have the same education because their mother decided that they weren't good enough to have a father. The second point, and I think the most poignant point, is that now this, I don't know how true this is, but a lot of times when you talk to women, a lot of times they have been proposed to, right? But it's either the guy they don't want or whatever the situation is. So at the end of the day, we can say that they don't want to be married. And then the last point, which we're finding out through machine learning and big data, is that she wants like only a white man will do, right? Only a white man will do, and in some cases, if you half nigger, that would be okay, but you gotta be president though, right? Right? If you gotta be president though, right? Or Steph Curry, something like that, then that will do. But you will get disrespected. Like, please believe you will get respected on a daily basis because she has felt that she's been robbed because she only got 50% white and not, 100% white. But if you can do all that, then yeah, she'll do you. But good news is she'll still have the baby with you though. And if she really likes you, she's gonna get pregnant by some other nigga and then tell you it's yours. That's if she really likes you or she really believes that you're stable. Then, because everybody keeps talking about Pookie, but really it's the pastor's baby. Right? Now, if you're a pastor, though, for some reason, if you're a pastor, you can't get a black woman to marry you. You can't. But I'll pass the mic on that.
Hey, shout out to you, but I'm just gonna say real quick, they lie about these proposals, y'all. They lie, but go ahead, Captain 3905. You got it, my brother.
Oh man, the excuses are many, the whys are few. These women, they don't want to be wise. They want to get married. They want the cash and prizes, but they don't want to be wise. They want to be hoes, and they want to they want to be the concubines of Pookie, Nuck Nuck, and Ray Ray. But they want you niggas that's going out here doing the right thing to raise they illegitimate seed, man. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Lori Harvey could have married Michael B. Jordan. She could have married a whole bunch of dudes. Oh, she ain't done hoeing yet. See, she got to get to her final form at about 40, 45, where she don't have 2 or 3 babies from 2 or 3 dudes in the industry, and she don't became a religious woman. See, Sierra laid out the blueprint. On out there and get you a future. Push out one of them little one of them futures, and then go get Russell Wilson, goof ass, that put some more babies in her so he could be on the hook for all that good money he making. That's what we dealing with, man. These women got all kind of excuses. Slavery. But the man I've been with, he used to beat on me. Listen, if you can't pick a good man, you ain't a good woman. No, man. It's over for these bras, bro. We don't pull the covers back and we don't expose the truth. Man, we out here in a sea full of holes, man, trying to swim up out of it, man. Get up out of here, man. Get your passport and get on up out of here. I passed it.
Well, one quick question.
Yes, sir.
Russell Wilson is also half white, right? Or half something.
I don't know about that.
No, yeah, he definitely have something.
Yeah, he's like a mulatto or something like that. So
yeah. I'm telling you, black women will deal with you if you're president, after like star, but you gotta be mixed. You got to be mixed. Though.
Being a star quarterback alone ain't enough.
It ain't enough. You got, man. Look, if you are a full nigga, you got only the preacher. But that nigga got a jet though. I'm serious, man. If we really look at shit out, right? She will have your baby. She will even tell you that this baby is yours and it's not. But the nigga she settled down with, unless you are a pastor with a plane.
All right, Emperor, you got the flow, my brother.
All right. Speaking of hoes, and I shall appear, as always. My whole sense was tingling, man. I couldn't help it. The excuses that black women make. Ho, why are you so fat? Oh, it's the diet. It's the white man too. It's everything, all that. Okay. Ho, why you got 6 kids by 6 different baby daddies? Oh, it's because y'all ninjas are out here creating baby mamas. It's y'all ninjas who are creating baby mamas. Ho, why do you have so much debt? Oh, it's the white man's system. The capitalism system. They tricked me. They tricked us. They don't want us to be nothing. Oh, why you don't have a car? He got repoed last year. Like, but that was last year. They got these bums, these losers. They got excuses for everything. When I say everything, meet these bums anywhere they are in life and watch them make excuses for pretty much all the bad things that goes in their life. And I ask myself, so you're just here? You have no control over what's going on in your life? Nothing? Like it's like it'll be like as if they were some sort of piece of plastic that just get thrown everything everywhere around by the wind. Like you got no control over anything in your life. You don't have control over your so-called your body, your choice, because obviously you're way too fat. You don't have control over your vagina. They got bad vagina management. You have no control over your finance because you're a loser, you're a bum. You don't know how to keep money. You don't know how to spend money, or not, or you don't know how not to spend money. You don't know nothing. Nothing. Yeah, thank you guys.
Okay, let's give it up to Champ. Champ for life, you got it, bro.
Happy Wednesday to all you brothers. Very okay, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why. The divorce rate among black women is 25%. It is the highest among all women of different racial backgrounds, whether it's Hispanic, Asian, and white women. And the average marriage with a black woman is only the average is about 6 years. That now that's a now when you're averaging over 6 years with a marriage with a black woman, that's an eye popper and everything else. It's just quite simple. Is that they're just not in it. They're not into it, for long term status and everything else. Next thing you know, they're into another man. And the brother, Kevin, who said it correctly about, Sierra example, first they want a future and everything else, and then after she leaves Future, she finds a Russell Wilson and everything else, who's a very unique black man with nice hair and everything else, probably a little bit of Native American. Well, we're all Native Americans, but got that unique hair and everything else. Those are the type of men that black women are into and everything else, or a white man and everything else. And if it's not a white man, many of them want to stay single and everything else. And they're rather to connect that, collect checks, for the children and everything else. So hey, let's just call it like it is. They're not in it for the long term and everything else. So I'm gonna land my plane right there.
All right, y'all. Now I'm gonna say this, y'all. Um, there's a lot of excuses made for black women, and I think black men, they try to think about stuff in a logical term, and we keep trying to figure out, why she's doing what she's doing in a way that it'll make sense, even if it's uncomfortable. And then we make excuses for it too. Okay, why is a woman in this country where you have freedom? Okay, You can pretty much do what you want to do, you know. And let's be realistic, y'all. Even the legal system don't really care about black women like that. You know, that's why they get away with so much stuff. The cops don't care about black women like that. Women are not seen as threats or anything like that. So they can do all kinds of stuff and get away with it. And they know they can, which is why they act the fool so much. The thing I think that the main issue is that all the excuses are pretty much accepted. You may have a guy who won't accept this type of excuse here or there, but generally all the excuses for women are accepted. Okay. If you meet a young lady, okay, chances are she does not have a good relationship with her father if she's black. If she knows her father, she doesn't have a lot of respect for her father, or she just doesn't know her father at all. Now, realistically, is this the reason she shouldn't be qualified to be a wife? No, because she lives in a free country. Who cares what you didn't have when you was a kid? Everybody got to overcome something. We as men, collectively, we accept that because she didn't have a daddy, she ain't got to act right in a relationship. We look at poverty. Oh, she don't come from money. So, she wasn't raised with like the upper class folks. So, she don't know how to act right. So I can't hold her accountable for acting right in a relationship because she wasn't with all those highfalutin people. She was with them broke people. Is that really an excuse that you should accept? See, my thing is no, because you're in a free country. Anything that you did not get during your childhood that you want, especially in today's time, we in 2025, you got access to pretty much everything now. You can go on the internet and figure it out. If you need to go to a charm school because you are a disgusted individual who don't seem to operate well in society, you can go online and look up charm school. Shout out to the nameless protagonist. Okay, you can find one and learn to act right. Okay, can you buy decent clothes that would attract a good man to you? Yes, there are stores. You don't even have to go to the store. You can go online and actually start looking at the type of selection they have at the stores before you even go to the store. Heck, you can even see if the item is in stock. You can say, hey, I want to go to a nearby store. They'll tell you right there, item is in stock. So why do we as black men, why do we accept so many excuses from black women? Why can't we just accept that these people aren't good enough? It's because
Because
they simply choose to
It's
not
because
be
you
good.
listen.
Hold on, let me just say the
Well,
last part. They
okay.
aren't good enough simply because they choose not to be good enough. All right, go ahead. Go
well,
ahead.
well,
Well,
I don't think it's about not being good enough. I think it's a cascade of things. One, it is a deficit in skill sets. Number two, I think that she just doesn't want to be. She doesn't want to be a married to black men, right? She wants to be married to something else. And that's the bottom line. And as long as only black men are on the table for her, she's gonna refuse to do that. At the end of the day, I don't think because like you said, right? You can learn those skills. You can do what needs to be done um to improve yourselves and develop yourself, right? But at the end of the day, it's just a very simple fact. She doesn't want to be married to a black man, and that's that.
I'll I'll go a step further. They rather cook and clean for their white spouses. Simple as that. They rather do that rather than doing it for a black man because they want to become this because they really want to become that white woman and everything else. They've been trying to get that white woman status, for generations to come, and they've been taught to do that, eh, you know, from their mother and everything else, and through society. It's really about trying to get that white woman status and trying to compete and everything else and become this Mrs. Cartwright That's what they want. They want that type of lifestyle.
Okay. Now I'm gonna slide in right quick because we got an example in the chat right now. QM says, y'all, he made 2 comments. QM says, that's all some of y'all can attract is bum men and women. I see great black men and women doing well in their community, loving the people in their community, and not looking for handouts. He says, how are you only around women who collect checks and live on Section 8? Oh, because you live there too. Okay. Now, see how the stupidity goes? Now this is an extremely stupid commentary. Why? Because I literally just brought out the fact that that most black women ain't married, period. So he tried to regulate all that into some project people. And you know what? He wouldn't take that position, assuming that this is a man. He wouldn't take that position, and it could be a woman. It don't make no difference. But you can't take that position unless you accept excuses.
Well, and then
There's no way.
on top of,
Let me just say this: there's literally no way that you can intellectually make those statements unless you accept excuses.
right, and then on top of that, educated women, since we like talking about them so much, educated women are more likely to get divorced and even less likelier to get married in the first place. But the thing I want to talk about is black men feel guilty. This is why we accept that. The average black man feels guilty, and it feels that somehow the state of black American women is somehow their
Our
fault.
fault. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Most black
Yep.
men, harbor the sense of guiltiness and wrongdoing. In the state of Black America, they feel it's their fault, or aka their father's fault that's been passed down to them. And the state of black female America is also their fault. And then on top of that, you have black women dogpiling that on them, saying, "You're the leaders. This is your fault." Blah blah blah. But a lot of black men carry around that guilt. We are the few. We're the few that don't have that guilt, and this is why this behavior is tolerated. Because at the end of the day, the dirty little secret is that a lot of black men feel guilty, and the most outspoken ones were the ones that are reformed pookies, reformed drug dealers, yelling at the rest of us, talk about we need to do better because we ate SHIT when we were going to school while they were selling drugs.
Now let me say shout out to Afro Merchant. He says, I think QM a woman. Hey, you know what? Could be a woman. But if y'all went to any kind of decent school, because I went to a terrible school, it says if you do not know the gender, you're supposed to go with male. Okay? So maybe QM technically is a woman, but I don't know. So I'm just going with male for now. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just say that should be insulting if QM is an actual woman. It should be insulting to her. But hey, it is what it is. Go ahead, Kevin.
I think a couple of things. I think QM is a questionable male for one. Hot sauce on his Texas Pete today. I'll put that shit on everything. He on it today. But these women, man, black women of all classes are attracted to degeneracy. It doesn't matter if she's from the hood. It doesn't matter if she's got a PhD. She want a hood dude. And to prove that point, most black women that marry white men that ain't got nothing. These dudes be homeless, or they move in with these women, and the women pay for everything. Remember the black woman that was in Hawaii, bragging about her white man, big tall white dude, this that and the other. He wasn't working.
Rose Miller, yeah, I'm not going. Yeah, she does that. The Kings of Queens.
Yes, he wasn't working. She paid for everything. Now, when she lost her shit, she told the whole story because she couldn't handle it. And then BGS did I ain't meant to mention, but another podcaster
Now,
did a
BGS
show.
cool. BGS cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
BGS did a show on another white woman. She's fairly attractive white woman. She's got a degree, working hard, this, that, and the other. Man, her white husband is a couch bum playing video games all the time in debt, and she don't work her ass off, save hundreds of thousands of dollars, and he in debt.
Gentlemen, can I say something, please?
Yes, sir.
He got something. He's white. His
There
white
you go.
skin covers for a multitude sins and imperfections.
There you go. Well said. Perfectly said.
All right, now I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. Now, when it comes like other folks, if they've been to my show, I don't trip about their name being mentioned if they've been to my show because I know these people or whatever the case is. And most of the people that somebody else would mention, I'm cool with them. I ain't saying I'm cool with everybody that came to my show, but most people that y'all may mention, I'm very cool with. But I'm gonna say this. When it comes down to it, sure, women will kill themselves over. I'm saying black women will kill themselves over trying to take care of some white man. That's a very real thing. Okay, I'm not gonna act like that doesn't happen at all. So now this is the thing. If you can kill yourself to take care of a white man, you can kill yourself to take care of a black man. Which means
That's right.
her being lazy toward black men is just an excuse. The proof is if it's somebody else, you can all of a sudden do everything you need to do. So therefore, you can't tell me you can't do what you need to do. I don't
That's
No,
accept.
true.
Tolizo, who's losing weight?
No, but the thing you're missing is that we don't have what she wants, so she can't do it, right? That's the issue. Because I'm not doing something for somebody if they don't have what I want, right?
I get what you're saying, and I'm saying is flat out the ability is clearly present. If you clearly have an ability, I have to accept that you just won't do it. So there is no excuse.
Right. Well, I mean, but that's the thing, right? Like when they're talking about excuses and why it's hard to find a man, most of the time when they're talking about a white dude when they're saying it's hard, and then when they're talking about settling, then they're talking about the Obama levels.
Hey,
Right? So they're speaking in code. Like the thing about it is we're thinking when they're saying, oh, it's hard to date, it's hard to get married, things like that, they're not talking about us. They're talking about Brad. Right? She's talking about Brad. She's talking about Thor and these Vikings. Right? Then when she's talking about settlement, she's talking about Steph Curry and those niggas. Right? That's what she's talking about.
hey,
I'm gonna try to find this video from Black Strike out real quick. He say I recently sent Roger a video of a black woman who was proudly living in a tent in the woods with a white man. Okay.
Come on, man.
Shout out to you, black woman. I'm gonna have to find that one.
hey,
I ain't seen that one.
Raj. Speaking of, I want to go back to what Kevin just said just a moment about 2 minutes ago. Perfect example. You know, actress Quintina Brunson. You know her?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, she went to Penn.
she
She went
just
to
got
Penn
a divorce. You know,
from a white dude.
Yeah, she was married to a white dude, and what I just heard about this was that this guy basically just sat on his behind, and I don't know what position he was. He had some type of position where he was a manager of some sort or something like that. But unfortunately for Miss Brunston, she has to pay this man money now that they're divorced.
What do you mean? Unfortunately, that come with marrying. You want to
Yeah,
It
marry and
is
get a
money.
divorce? That come with it. What you talking about? Unfortunately, she got her white
Yeah.
man. She cool.
Run that man his bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
Now,
I'll tell you one thing: she's not
uh,
going. She won't be able to find another man, though. Not a
well, I
black
mean,
man.
we'll see how it play out. We'll see how it plays out. But my thing is this: it's really about why do we accept so many excuses? Women do all kinds of crazy stuff. And we as black men, we don't just say, I don't want to hear these excuses, just get right. We don't do that. We accept anything. She ain't got no daddy. We accept it, okay? And we just let off the hook because she wasn't raised by her father. I don't let no woman off the hook because she wasn't raised by her father. I don't care that you wasn't raised by your father. You still got to do right by me. I don't care if you got to watch old television shows to figure out how to treat me. You figure it out. It's that simple. I don't know how to treat a man because I was never around somebody who did that. They say stuff like that all the time. Yet when it comes to treating them well, they don't think you're supposed to have an excuse. Ain't you ever seen somebody treat their wife nice? Ain't you ever seen this? Ain't you ever seen that? So if it works out for the man that the man's supposed to just automatically know what to do and do it, same thing should go for them. Now, everything don't match when it comes to male and females. But if you can tell me that a man who has no background in treating women well should know how to treat a woman well, then there's no way in the world I'm supposed to accept that just because you didn't have a background where men treated women well, that you shouldn't know how. I don't want to hear excuses. I was taught as a kid that excuses are worth two dead flies. That was
Shout
burned
out
into my brain.
to
Go
shout
ahead.
out to a real man would.
I mean,
Jesus
y'all
cut him
know we
off.
Y'all, we done heard all these different versions of a real man would. And you never hear them making up excuses about why somebody can't. It's just a real man would do this. A real man would do that. We done heard that so much. So I mean, shout out to you, Amber. That's just right on the money at the end of the day. You know. And the reason I just, like I say, I don't want people to get too focused on rich people because the conversation we have don't really include rich people because the rich people are just such a small percentage of the population. I'm just saying even with a Lori Harvey, she had basically every advantage you could ask for. You know, she didn't have to be doubted that you wanted her, that she was in it for the money because she got a rich stepfather. So you didn't have to have those concerns. Her looks are on point. You can say whatever you want about her attitude, but she had the look. Okay, she wasn't fat. All right, she ain't got no bunch of kids, so you didn't have to worry about this stuff. She didn't. She basically had every advantage that women could hope for, and she still couldn't get the job done. Now, I don't accept no excuse from Lori, just like I don't accept no excuse from any other woman. And it's not about like I said, this really ain't about rich people. I'm just showing you it's plenty of women out there that are in great positions that just can't perform. And I don't accept no excuses. Well, I ain't gonna even say they can't perform. They just don't perform. Not well. And since I ain't taking her excuses, I ain't taking nobody else's excuses. It's that simple at the end. And I think this is a huge problem for black men. We look at their situation and we accept excuses for her underperforming. I don't care about your past, man. Just perform. I don't care if you know your daddy, you don't know your daddy. I don't care if you make up some story about how your daddy was some horrible, abusive person. Number one, I don't believe you anyway. Number two, I don't care that it happened. Get over it. If you want to be in a
Right.
relationship where I can be with you on something real, you don't have to get over it.
Roger.
I'm not going through therapy for your daddy.
Roger.
If you go ahead.
Black women's social class is just ratchet. Doesn't matter how high they reach, everything's gonna be ratchet. Okay, that's that's why you got certain people who turn from somebody's wife into somebody's baby mama. Their life result is always ratchet. Okay, don't matter.
Now, and I'm gonna say this real quick. Shout out to QM. QM said that's all she can attract are men who live in tents. I don't care what color he is. That's her level. Bro, he was talking about the woman was a sister, and that's what she got. See, QM is probably a woman, but this one thing I know for sure that I'd be willing to bet $100 on right now. QM is a person who ain't married. And more than likely, it's a woman who don't qualify for marriage, and this conversation is clearly offending them. Now, that's a personal issue you have going on that you're bothered by this, and that's just real talk. That's a personal issue. So it is what it is, QM. And if you got something you really want to say, there is a link you can jump on the panel so you can defend whatever position you really want to defend. Because one thing as a host, I don't like to have conversations with people that's not on the that's not up on the panel. Just is what it is. QM, you salty, and it's clear to me that you're salty about how your life done came out in certain ways, but you got to go get therapy somewhere else for that. Unless you're just gonna listen. There is a certain amount of therapy you can get by just listening, but I ain't gonna really talk to you, real, and that's being real. All right, go ahead, because I got two new guests that I'm about to get in.
Okay,
Go ahead.
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real quick, and this is me personally. This is why I don't give excuses to black women. Black women have the best men on the planet because we accept the most from our women that other races won't. And for a black woman to get married, all she got to do is lay down under a man and be nice to him, and she will get a black man. She don't even have to have all these other qualifications. They just don't want to be married, bro.
Well, they want to be married. That's natural for every woman.
They don't want to be wise.
Now, see, that's the difference. That's the difference.
The truth of the matter is that they really want to get married to a white man. Simple as that.
No, I mean, there's a lot of them that want to get married to a white man, but that they don't even perform well even with that. So
yeah, their performance is the same with the white men that they are with us. It's the same.
I'm not saying that black women don't attempt to treat white men better. They do attempt. I will give them credit for attempting. But obviously, it's not good enough that white men are crossing the Rubicon. Okay, it's obviously not working well enough. But I got two new guests up here, so let me let them get in. King, you got it, and then we'll get Truth Teller in right behind you.
Lord help us.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
How you doing, brother?
Man, chilling, enjoying this content, man. I was laughing my ass off. Y'all brothers wild this morning, man. Yeah, man. I just I see what's going on out in the streets, out in the bars, the clubs, the speed dating singles events that no brothers are showing up for. You know, I mean, that's bad when the Nigerian scammers actually putting them ain't even showing up to the damn singles events. That's when you know it's bad out here. Ain't nobody trying to sign up to be played to be a leftover. You know what I'm talking about? So they I don't know what they need, brother. They need help. They need Jesus. They need something. But I ain't gonna be able to do it. I'm gonna have to move in a direction, you know what I'm saying, where there's females that appreciate what I'm doing for them. Black men do take too much from these broads. That's really all I got to say about that.
Judge.
Okay. Then I'm gonna say shout out to Debonair brother. He says respectfully, black women don't want to be married. Black women want to do anything but normal. Likewise, she is attracted. Excuse me. Likewise, she is not attracted to Pookie. She uses Pookie to rebel, feel dominant, and undermine black men. I'm gonna say very interesting, Debonair brother. Very interesting. Now I'm gonna push back. I'm gonna say she do want to be married. It's natural. Women do want to be married. Now, actually doing the qualification that would make you a good wife, I do think they have an issue with that. But it's not that they don't want to be married, because they all want to feel like they got chosen. They all want to be able to say, somebody picked me. Black women, just like any other woman, make a serious difference between being a wife versus being a chick who never was able to get the job done. Okay? You know, that's real talk. Now, I'm going to say real quick before I give the truth teller, Debonair brother says, is a black woman a woman, Roger? I'm going to say this. According to black women, that's up in the air. You ask them what a woman is, a lot of them don't know. So I'm gonna leave that right there for now. I'm gonna leave it right there for now. Truth teller, you got it, brother.
Hey, what up, y'all? That is so sad. I don't even know how I'm supposed to step in on that one right there. You can't identify yourself, much less your group. I mean, you don't belong nowhere. Jesus. I am going to take a different approach today. I am offended of how you brothers are attacking these women. You know why? Y'all niggas is trying to make the whole supply dry up, and I'm not gonna let this shit happen. All right? If they want to be hoes, you let them be hoes. Listen, if things don't work out with my wife, man, I need somebody to be able to pick up the pieces with me until I find my next one. So y'all niggas is trying to make this hard, and I don't appreciate it. Okay? I want to go to the whole party, the $35 million whole party that me and Saul's been planning for like the last 2.5 years. And y'all niggas is just trying to suck up dry the whole supply. I'm not gonna have it, man. I don't know why y'all niggas want hoes to be wives, but listen, they have a role to play. And y'all niggas gotta get used to it, and y'all gotta live your life appropriately with these hoes and stop playing. That's it for me.
He said, not on my watch. Well,
He love all his hoes.
Well, hey, if I can get into the $35 million whole part, I might scale it down a little bit. I want an invitation just to see what it looked like. Research purposes. That's all. Just research purposes. but I mean, real talk, because y'all, I'm definitely don't want nobody to believe that you can go out there and convert some hoe into a housewife. You know, I'm not saying a woman can't change, but she got to change herself. You can't make nobody change other than you. If a woman truly wants to change, she'll do a lot of stuff to make stuff happen. Back in the day, they were respectful enough that they'd be a hoe in this one particular city, and then they move away where people didn't know about their background. You know, hoes were respectful enough to say, man, you know what? I need to cut this out. Let me do better. And, you know, I need to get me a husband somewhere. So they'll literally change states so their whole background wouldn't come up on their new guy. That's respect at the end of the day. If you gonna try to change, she try to change where she at. So, you know, everybody you run into can't tell you they hit it. You know, I'm not saying that's the best thing in the world, but if you're gonna be a hoe that's trying to present yourself as somebody worthy of a marriage at this point, if you really believe your quote unquote holiness in your past, that's a respectful way to go about it. At least lead the state. But how you gonna be in Chicago, been a hoe in Chicago, then you say, well, you know, I don't want to be a hoe no more, but I'm gonna stay right here in Chicago.
You know
You
what?
know what?
You know what? That's your fault. Y'all made whole ego. That's your fault.
I kind of had an argument with my sister and my cousin again. Yeah, you know how I be going in with my relatives, and they were kind of making the same argument. You know, what if I change? What if I change? And what if I'm not? What if the girl's not a hoe no more? What if she changes? And I said, well, quick question: what would be the first indicator that she's no longer a hoe? And you know, they said, oh, she doesn't do the things she used to do. So she stopped doing hoe activities. Yes. So
What
that
about the
means
rest of
she's
you
not a
then?
hoe anymore? Yeah, well, does that mean
What
she's
about
not
the
a
rest
hoe
of you?
anymore? No, I'm just saying, if you think about it really, just because you stopped doing hoish activities, like if I was a criminal and I spent the first 10 years of my life being an awesome criminal, I was successful at it, and then I decided, hey, I'm not going to be a criminal no more. How you know I'm no longer a criminal? If somebody was to come and say, I want to do a business deal with you, how do they know that I'm no longer in my criminal activity? Just because I said I'm no longer a criminal? Well, your word ain't really good. You spent 10 years being a criminal. How am I supposed to believe you? So it's the same thing with hoes. You've been a hoe for the first, most of the time when they turn 30 is when they try to make that change. So for the first 12 years of your adult life, you've been hoeing. And suddenly now I'm supposed to believe you ain't a hoe no more. You ain't put in
True,
12
true,
more years of non-hoeing. You just decided, hey, I'm not a hoe today. So let's
true,
Come
move
on,
true,
forward.
true, true.
come
Listen
on,
to this.
come,
Listen to this.
come on, Roger. Come on,
Rules,
Roger. You got to
rules
give
of
him
the
hope
street.
now.
All right, well, let me
Rules of
say,
the
first
street.
of all, I got to say real quick, shout out to
Uh-huh.
Mr. Teef. He said 105 listening, 31 likes. Y'all see, this is disrespectful right here. This is just plain disrespectful. Look, I know it's exciting over here. I know it's interesting over here. I understand you may have forgot to hit that like button when you first slid in. get out the chat, hit that like button, and come on back. I swear the chat's still gonna be there. If you
Don't
out
be
there,
like these ungrateful hoes.
yeah,
Don't be like these
I'm
ungrateful
saying,
hoes. Hit the
like,
like button, y'all.
yeah, I'm saying that if you somewhere in the clouds, cool. Stop doing what you're doing for a second and hit the like button. You at work, you on the computer. I get it. Stop for a second, hit that like button. They ain't gonna be able to tell you hit the like button, y'all. I understand that computers are registering when some of y'all are working at it or not. They're not gonna be able to tell if you stop for a second and hit that like button. I get some of y'all driving somewhere. When you at the light, hit the like button. It's not that serious, okay? Hit that like button, but them likes need to come up with 100 people watching, and we only got 31. That's disrespectful. Real talk. Okay, Emperor, I think you finna say something, Emperor? Was that you?
Yeah, that was Emperor.
Yes, yes. Rules of the streets. Rules of the streets, number one, once a hoe, always a hoe. I don't care. You don't get out of it.
No, not on the Roger report. Roger got to give these hoes some hope.
Well,
No.
I mean, real talk. That's why hoes left the state, so nobody would know.
There you go.
You see what I'm saying?
I take that one. That shows they got a little bit of integrity. But see, Roger, what you don't know is these hoes out here don't care. They wear t-shirts tell you they proud to be hoes. They wear clothing that shows you I got my whole uniform on. They want everybody to know they hoes. They got TikToks and videos showing you how much they hoeing out here, Roger.
Hey man, I can't debate that. I remember a story I covered, y'all, where it was a woman who was I think she was a principal of a school, and she literally, now this is a black woman. She literally made a dress code for adults because the hoes was coming up to the school to pick up the kids in all kinds of outrageous outfits. Like they trying to go to the club, or like they just going across the hallway to the next bedroom. That's how the women was dressing. And then she literally had to make a dress code for adults. Do not come up to school dressed like a hoe. Do not come up to the school with your bonnets on.
Spirit ended up kicking them off a plane for their whole uniform. Remember that story? Spirit Airlines.
And my thing is, we as black men, y'all, we got to accept that we accept way too many excuses about how women can't perform at a good level for us. And I'm telling y'all it's true, because at the end of the day, which I'm going to keep bringing this up till it changes, y'all, black men don't break up with women. You might be able to find a black man who's broken up with a woman. I've done it, but I can't say any of my friends have. I can't remember one woman that any of them ever broke up with. Okay? When I've asked people from across the country, have you ever broken up with a woman? They all will tell me no. Literally, I tell you, I'll do my own surveys. Not saying that they're scientific, because I'm not asking that many. I ain't, asked 100,000 people or nothing, but the men that I've come across so far, none of them broke up with a woman. I don't care what she did. None of them broke up. She's done crazy stuff. Okay. I heard about a woman who shot a man and he still stayed with her.
Where'd she shoot him?
If my memory's correct, I think it was somewhere in the leg or something, but I don't think that should make much of a difference.
Oh my Lord! He said that the woman shot. He said the woman shot the man in the leg.
Bro, if you shoot me, at the very least, I'm gonna do is break up with
you. I'm gonna be honest with you, Roger. If a woman has the gall to shoot me and I survive, I might marry her, because I don't want to get shot no more, bro. I just don't.
Wow.
I know she's serious. She ain't playing.
If nothing else, she ain't playing.
Yeah, I'll be going to Home Depot to buy a huge box.
I ain't doing nothing different in front of that woman, behind her back, or nothing. I be telling you, nigga, be quiet. That woman got a gun.
Y'all, shout out to Mr. Me Too. He say my grandma shot her boyfriend in the foot. And he stayed. And I'm
That
gonna
must have been some powerful, you know what?
and right behind that, Trail Billy said, "That's real love, Raj." That's real love. Well, Tunnel Run is coming up, y'all. Tunnel Run is coming up. So let me get the mic. Because, y'all know it's real out here. Niggas is getting shot and staying. Go ahead, Tunnel Run.
I'm coming through clear. I'm coming through clear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. The girl, Lori Harvey, said herself out of her own mouth. She only wants people to serve her. She never says anything about serving anybody else. She just wants somebody to worship her, and she has no return. There's no return for that service. So that's the problem. When you don't want to do anything for anybody and expect everybody to do something for you, it's an imbalance.
I,
That's
I
some that's some Hotep niggas' fault. Them Hotep niggas did that. I ain't gonna say too much, but yeah, there's some Hotep niggas done did that. Yeah.
All right. Now I'm gonna say, y'all, if y'all like serious content where we get into the real questions and the real answers and everything ain't just for entertainment, y'all need to subscribe right here over to the Roger Report Live. We do this Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Chicago time, not the city you live in, 9 a.m. Chicago time, okay? Monday through Friday. So y'all subscribe if you want the real content, okay? I understand there's a lot of folks out there playing with content, but if you want some real stuff, this is where you're gonna get it. We ain't pulling the punches over here. You know. Now I'm gonna say, shout out to Lori. Do I got a problem with Lori? No. Do I think Lori had what it takes to actually be a good wife? Yes. She looks good. She don't have a bunch of kids. She has access to money. She can go to the best term school the nation has to offer. She can do everything she needs to do to be a good wife. My thing is, you had a top black man that other women literally dream about, and you weren't smart enough to make it happen. Y'all see, I've said plenty of times, you can be a genius in one area and an absolute idiot in another area. She's just kind of proof of that.
Right.
She's a well-to-do woman from a financial aspect. She does have some company now. I forget what it was about, but I read that like a while ago. She's like an owner of a company, so she making some money on her own and everything. I'm not tripping. If you got a rich daddy, why would not get some money and own a company? Why not? It's there. But
Roger,
you fumbled a top movie star. That's crazy work. Go ahead.
Roger. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much money you got. You're just another nigga.
Hey, you know what? That is definitely the viewpoint. That is definitely a viewpoint, and that's why I say at a certain point you just got to accept that women just choose to be stupid. And this is why I say stupidity is a choice. You have to be smart enough to do some stupid things. You know, you got to have some level of intelligence to be with some movie star who's the it guy right now. At least amongst black folks, he the it guy right now. We didn't have Sidney Poitier. He was followed by Denzel Washington, which was followed by Will Smith, and it's Michael B. Jordan right now. And you let that get away. You
Hey,
kind of
Roger.
slow. If you was my daughter, I'd be extremely disappointed. Extremely disappointed. Go ahead.
I'm
Roger.
a, I'm a.
Roger.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Roger. There's a whole country of women in Colombia that would take Michael Jordan in a minute. Michael B. Jordan in a minute. So, and a whole bunch of other places would take him I mean, not in a minute, in a second. He would have
Or
to fight them off, and they would be loyal, and they would stay with him, and they could, everything that she said that wasn't it for her, they would be for. So I don't. These guys, these women in America, I don't know what they want, because if the president can't do it and Curry can't do it, I don't know who's going to do it.
or
Michael
even
B
women,
can't
Man,
do it.
even women from the Philippines island. I mean, my God, can you imagine if Michael B. Jordan was in the Philippines and got recognized? A whole bunch of ladies out there would be just running towards him and everything else, begging him to take him and everything else. Straight up.
Listen, man, I ain't gonna let y'all keep putting down my ladies like this, all right? Y'all told y'all we need these hoes, and y'all niggas keep putting them down. I don't understand. I don't want to come to an empty $35 million party, son. I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be mad if we
Hey,
get $35 million together. Ain't no hoes in there. This is gonna be a problem.
I'm
Listen, Lori Harvey was a hoe. Let's just put her on the table, Roger. Put her on the table like it's supposed to be. She wasn't supposed to get married because she's not marriage material. Listen, man, it's like a job. You put just like a job. You got your resume. You put it in. You put your qualifications in. You get on the job. You have to perform. And every year they do a review. And if you don't meet up to the requirements, they fire you. That hoe couldn't meet the requirements of being no wife. Literally, we're not even talking about Michael B. Jordan. She can't be a wife to nobody. So guess what? She's gonna be a hoe. And I'm happy for her. This is her life choice. I'm so glad we have a place for her over here, man. We can't treat you like a respectable lady, but we'll give you the love we give hoes. There's nothing wrong with that, y'all. Just love them for who they are. If they
Hey,
tell you, who they are, believe them.
say her
and
body,
truth
her
teller,
choice, y'all. Her body,
truth
her
teller,
choice.
she got a whole bunch of her sisters, black FBA women, cheering her on to be a hoe, to not marry that man.
What?
They were
What?
that just
happy.
means the supply's going up, player.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all
because
that means.
there's a large supply.
Gentlemen,
Because the
What?
other women
Yeah.
the other women in London and Colombia and all the other places were thinking she was a fool. But I guess like I said, she got a whole cheering section over here in America.
gentlemen, let a hoe be a hoe. She gonna cuff and blow. So I say, let her go.
Now, I will say this, y'all. If a woman's cheering on a hoe, that's a good indicator of what she is too. It's just because who is happy for a person doing certain things? People on their team, right? See, if I see a brother doing well, I'm gonna cheer for that brother because we supposed to be on the same team. Y'all know I'm from Chicago. When the Bulls do well, I'm gonna cheer for it. When the Bears do well, I'm gonna cheer. That's my teams. Okay. White Sox do well, I'm cheering. Cubs do well, I'm cheering. We same team. So when people are cheering for hoes, you gotta just look what women cheer for hoes. Same team. Whether you know she is or not. When she started cheering for hoes, that's a good indicator that she's a hoe herself. Okay, I'm just saying. Okay, and shout out to Black Ruben Strikes. He says, yeah. Well, I was looking cockeyed at Michael B. Jordan for picking that floozy to be to be his main queen to begin
He
with.
used Floozy. He used Floozy. Shout out to him. We gotta bring back them old names, y'all. We have to. Come on now.
Black Ruben put it in the ways. He put it in ways that we forget about. But
Yeah.
no placeholder has come up, y'all. So let me give the mic to no placeholder. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, Roger? What's going on, Tommy?
We just having a good time, brother. We having a good time. So
I, I
what you
hear you
got on
guys.
this?
I hear you guys. Yeah, I hear you guys chuckling. Yeah. So regarding, yeah, shout out to the panel, as I said initially here to the chat. Yeah, we regarding excuses. While I'm not a man, I don't countenance excuses. Um, I don't basically tolerate failure. I'm not exactly exempting black women from the responsibility of doing their part as femininity. I am not also completely incapable of realizing the circumstance in which black women find themselves in as a result of the environment that they're currently in right now and the history of black women in, I'm saying, specifically in America and in the Western Hemisphere. Um, it's we're in a scenario where, from my perspective, even you speak of like Lori Harvey, while she is beautiful, and Roger did make the point of saying that she is wife material. That is not the case, Roger. Lori Harvey was not given an environment from she was a young girl all the way up to where she was to actually practice proper femininity and practice proper wife duty and learn certain wife skills. So while she might be externally attractive,
It's saying she doesn't have the mindset, nor the teaching, nor the support system. As Tony was mentioned, the people that are clapping for her is clapping for her to do the opposite of those things. So what I'm saying is that essentially that it is true that black women are sentient beings in this environment, and their moms, their aunts, and their grandmothers should be a proper support system to help them be feminine and wife material. But the black female that's born into this environment as a result of her grandmother and or her great grandmother going back having no true. What I mean by that is that yes, like you mentioned, the stats of Black America being married at a high percentage rate. I'm saying, but even BGS will talk about it and indicate that basically those marriages basically had ups and downs. And it was more or less a scenario that I'm saying was more like together as a result of circumstance than anything else. So, but what I'm saying is that it's when we look at, like, for example, white women or other races. I'm gonna land here. Other races of women, we have to take into account the environment that they're in and who is raising them and how they get to practice femininity and who allows them to practice femininity and such forth. So, like, black women in America are not given the same opportunity to practice femininity, for example, as white women. They're just not the same. I'm saying it doesn't mean it excuses them, because obviously they need to generate outcome, but they are. I have to recognize where the position they're starting from. So that's basically, there's not an excuse, but I do recognize where they're starting from.
And you know what? I'm glad you came up to and said that, y'all, because yeah, there is a thing about the environment, and we got to be realistic about what goes on in this particular country, and America as a whole is collectively anti-black men. So they're going to do things to mess black men up. So will America mislead black women to hurt black men? Oh, absolutely. America has done a fine job of doing that too. You know, black women don't. The racism that they receive is going to be a very different form of racism because they're not seen as a threat at all. But what they could do is have black babies, and if you have black babies, you know, probably half those babies will end up being male, so you can create more threats to the power structure of America. So let's do look at this with some level of sense, because I do believe this is a good point. Environmentally, should we accept any excuses for black women not performing? Because, you know, it has been said many a time, even on my previous channels, that black women just weren't trained to be wives. Now, I don't disagree with that. They weren't trained. The question is, should I care that they wasn't trained? Now, me, I'm a person. I just want performance. Period. You know, I'm used to people want me to perform. Period. I'm used to nobody caring about my circumstances. I'm used to nobody caring that something bad happened to me. I'm used to people just holding me accountable, and they don't care nothing about my story. They don't even care to hear the story. You know, you ever been late to work and you had a good reason? You know, you had a quote unquote good reason. See, the way I'm taught, ain't no good reason. You just late, and you sitting there with my car wouldn't start this morning. My car was fine yesterday. It just wouldn't start this morning. Nobody cares, man. But that's the way America treated me as a black man. So I'm so used to excuses not being accepted that I, at a certain point, especially being taught that excuses are worth two dead flies, and I totally get why I was taught that as a child, and it makes sense to me. So the thing is, for me, I was taught that nobody's going to accept my excuse, and someday it clicked to me, I shouldn't be accepting everybody else's excuses. I'm not saying the situation didn't happen to you. It's just I don't care about your excuse, because people don't care about mine. And this does come across very harshly when I've had certain discussions with women. I tell them this is why I don't accept excuses, because y'all generally won't accept mine. I'm just talking to them about them, but I'm saying in general, America doesn't accept my excuse. Period. I don't care what happened. They just don't want to hear it. But Pimpin' Sims has just joined us. So let me give the mic to him and do, put on what you want to put on this one, brother.
Hey, what up, fellas? How y'all doing today? Happy Wednesday and all that good stuff.
Uh-oh.
And you know what? Shout out to you. We're gonna have Jado follow you up because he done came in too. I think they was hanging out together, y'all. Go ahead.
But I'm a piggyback off of what no placeholder was saying, and I can't really give
Yeah,
them.
me too.
I'm not gonna give them the excuse that he gave them, but it's like hot sauce and what's the other brother name? They always be saying epigenetics. If they been hoeing, what you think they're gonna reproduce is more hoes. And I always tell them, once she hit the track, she ain't hoeing back. It's just in them. You know what I mean? You can't make a pit bull be a chihuahua. It's just a pit bull now. So I just tell everybody, just embrace the times we live in. You don't have to sit on the phone with them forever. All you gotta do is buy them 2 Hennessy's and crack 5 jokes, and you having a good old time. So let's just live it up. You know what I mean?
Straight up. Pimp, 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 pimp. Yeah, let's do that.
Shout out
Live
to
it up.
Hennessy. Okay. Well, let me read something. Black Roo done threw something in there. Let me read what he say real quick. Then we give it to you, Jado. Black Roo Strike says, no disrespect to no placeholder, but that was a crock of horse manure. I just said that was a crock of horse manure. He just dumped. He said some of the most feminine women I have known were Black women who tended livestock and picked
Mhm.
cotton. Woo, Black Uru went deep on you. I mean, I don't. Once you start talking about tended livestock and picking cotton, it get rough to make a comeback on that one. But no placeholder, you can address that right now if you want to, or I can get a photo. Jado, we can address that later if
Yeah,
you want. You can just not
yeah,
address it at all because I don't know how you come
yeah. I'm
back
not
to
really,
that one.
yeah, I'm not in a position to really address Black Hoover because when he talks about what was he saying again? Pig stocks? Yeah, that's beyond my ken. So I'm gonna leave that alone.
Yeah. When you throw the livestock in the pink
Good
cotton,
step back.
that
Good
gets a
step
little
back.
that get a little
Yeah.
touchy right there. Okay, Jado, you got the flow, my brother.
Man, howdy, Roger, man. What's up, fellas? Hope y'all doing well, man. Salute to the chat. Salute to the replay gang, man. Man, I wanted, hey, Shark, you was kind of hitting it. No placeholder as well. I presented, look, my education level was very mid. So let me say that, I'm not a sociologist, anthropologist, any of these ologists, man. But I'm saying, like, we talk about the environment and stuff or whatever, man. Like, so, and I know a lot of times we speak, like about the relationship between black men and black women. We have a nostalgic like thing about it. Like back then, back in these days, man, it was all good. I mean, not all good, but mostly good. Let me say that. And did these times actually happen, or we're just kind of fooling ourselves, bro? Like, I guess, post slavery, man, I guess we were married at an 80% clip, from my understanding. Maybe I'm wrong. But then all of a sudden it just you went downhill. Let me say that. Okay. Where was there a point where everything was all good? Maybe when we were on the savannah, like when we were in huts. And shout out to Hot Sauce. I haven't heard him mention it in a while, but talk about niggas in the wilderness, man. But like, was that when things were good? Because are we gonna have to go back to Stone Age to get things right, man? Because these bros, they got too many options right now. We have the internet. They have, I mean, TV. Shark, you mentioned that a lot. We watch TV, the internet, social media, all this stuff. They got too many choices. They got too many rights. They got too many things. So how are we going to get? How's the environment go? I mean, I guess it's going to have to be some cataclysmic type of event to get things back right. Because otherwise, it's not going to get back right. So anyway, for them, they're using excuses because the excuses are available to them. They're going to use it. I know that's not the question, but they're going to use them. And some people are going to accept them, and some people aren't, man. But I don't know, man. I'm just trying to figure out, like, was there ever some nostalgic time where everything was all good? Maybe it was back on the savannah, man. But anyway, man, I'm just throwing stuff out there, man. Appreciate you having me up, Rob.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say, y'all. You know, we was obviously doing better. If people was jumping the broom during slavery, obviously stuff was better back then. That's how I look at it. Now, when it comes to what happened under Jim Crow,
Roger,
go
listen to
ahead.
what you're saying, Roger. Listen to what you're saying, Roger. You say
No,
obviously
I
things
get
are
it. No, go
Listen.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. My bad.
Sorry, go.
No, I'm just a little curious about that statement. Obviously, things are better. I don't know, Roger. I don't know. It's,
No,
I want to give y'all something because I done did some family history digging recently, and there was baby mamas back in the 30s and 40s, and baby mamas also before that. And I know we like to think social media has made this new. It has not. There's always been hoes. And honestly, I'm starting to think the same percentage of women that were hoes now was the same percentage of women that were
That's
hoes
what
before.
I'm thinking that too. Go ahead,
Because
bro.
the more I dig and the more stories I hear, I'm like, oh. So basically what it was is in the past, they covered it up better, right? There wasn't the lines of communication we had. Also, there was some social shame that could cause a woman to keep things more of a secret. You know, they don't got the shame now, so they just doing what they do. But I don't, and none of this from what I heard in the past from my aunts and my grand aunts and grand uncles, they actually said the same thing happened to what we see in now. It's just that because we see it on TV, we're like, it was never like this in the past. I have found several family members, women, who had babies and then multiple babies and got married later and then had multiple babies on top of that. I have a great grand aunt that had two babies from somebody else. We don't know. And then she had like seven more kids by a dude she married. So stepfather and baby mama has been in our in our culture for a long time. We
Epigenetics.
talk. I don't know if it's epigenetics, but I will say it is a cultural thing, and honestly, it's more of a natural thing. I mean, this is within women too, right? I know we like to all believe they don't know, they're ignorant, they're not aware. They know exactly what they're doing, they're aware of what's happening, they're aware of what they want, and they know us better than we do, which is why they can manipulate us to the degree where we're so infantile, we think they don't really know. So I hear niggas say it all the time. They just don't understand. What do you mean? They got the same education you do. And if you understand, why don't they? Not
But
only
just,
that, they done use more niggas than you could ever use. So
oh yeah,
obviously they understand. So
yeah,
let's
they
just stop the
definitely.
games, man.
I
It's part of who we are, man. We just need to move with it.
I can't.
That's what I'm at. That's why I asked, like, when was this nostalgic period when, we just, it was very minimal, very minimal holes, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, and I'm saying, like, are we going to have to go back to the Stone Ages, man? Like, what's going to have to happen?
Well,
Yeah,
we grew up in the same environments. We came up in the same households that they came up, and black men became great husbands. So much so that we're the most desired men across the planet. So why do they get to have excuses for being the least desired women across the planet? No, they don't get no excuses, bro. They just choose to be horrible fucking people.
Church.
Now, the thing is, how come we collectively don't see it that way? Because like I was saying, yeah, stuff had to be better. If you would get married during slavery, that said you got some level of hope going on, some kind of way.
not
And the
really,
fact
Roger.
that what I'm just saying, if you can, I'm saying it in comparison to being free. If you can get married in captivity, but somehow get married, the more freedom you have, the more used to freedom you have, has become a bad idea. I think something wrong with you at the end of the day, because that's what I see from black women. The longer they have been free, the more issues they have about being a good wife. Slavery, they
Good
can
wife,
they can
good
do it.
person, a
no,
good anything,
no.
Roger.
So,
Yeah.
so that, so that, but
That,
so that would suggest that they would need slavery to get married
Well,
more. Like, I mean,
well, I'm gonna say this: slavery happened. They was doing it, even though technically it was illegal. Jim Crow happened. They was messing with us. A lot of people gonna argue, but they really didn't have a choice. And I'm not gonna say that's not a valid argument, but if you, especially for the people who make that argument, well, the more freedom they've got, they technically been free since the 60s, right? That's when all the Jim Crow stuff started being repealed, right? That, you know what I'm saying? And I understand it takes time for something to hit a piece of paper and then for it to actually go into effect. So now you didn't have since the 60s to now, we didn't have 60 plus years. The marriage rate been continuing to drop the whole time.
Now,
What is
Roger,
this?
they was doing this since
What
they
is
was
this
doing this
saying?
since the plantation.
Can I
Remember,
make a quick
Cooper
point?
always says the redheaded
It's
stepchild thing, right? We was literally like when we was slaves. You know, there was Irish people that was indentured servants and could work their way off of the plantation. Irish niggas is the ones with red hair, so they was doing that thing, and then your great grandfather would take on the redheaded stepchild and take them on. It's always been there. I think that women got married during slavery so they wouldn't get sold off of the plantation.
man. I think what it says is the more financial freedom they get, the more free they are to be hoes. That's
Yeah,
just
I
it.
think
Which is a
Listen,
valid
let's
point.
just call it what it is, man. It's their natural state. Let's stop playing. I know most of us don't want to think of it that way, but if you really think about it, it's their natural state. Our natural state is a little bit of that, but also taking responsibility for probably stuff that we shouldn't. That's our natural
But
state, and that is what our heel is because they know it and they use it to their benefit. All I'm saying is, fine. We recognize that they at least got a gene in them that make them more willing to be hoes when they get more freedom. So I say, hey, just treat them as such, man. We got a party we planning, and we can't be fucking up the supply, y'all. We just can't. I'm just sorry.
this guy, this guy, man, this guy.
But let me read this real quick by Black Guru Strikes. He says, women always have been hoes. It's in their nature. But you have to have some rules and controls to try to limit and manage their fallout of hold'em, especially regarding the impact to community and kids. Now, I'm not.
Exactly. Now,
Yeah,
Roger. Okay.
no,
So
no, go
now
ahead,
that's what
go,
the
go
point.
ahead.
That was the quick point I was making, Roger. It's exact that party when you just mentioned the last part that does not exist in Black America, and in some parts of the Caribbean where the enforcement to achieve those the last part he talks about rules to restrict, contain, so it doesn't affect the children in the community. That is not in place. So because those are not in place, you understand what I'm saying? I was like, that is what I was making a point about the environment. Someone else is in control of the environment and they allow this to happen because they are in control. So I'm not saying that the women are not exempt, but if you understand that they're going to do this by nature, if you create an environment, then essentially they're going to do it. So, I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. So,
Okay. So my thing is this, y'all. As men, are we saying the goal of a black woman is to be a hoe? And the only reason she really ain't been a hoe previously is because she didn't feel she had enough of what it takes to achieve the goal. Because
I would drift to the side, Roger, that she didn't receive enough teachings of discipline. She received enough teachings of discipline to avoid that from happening. But most don't because they don't really take to discipline teaching. So therefore most of them go that avenue.
yeah, because I
Well,
wouldn't
most
say it's
women
their
end up
goal to
Yeah,
becoming
be hoes.
rebellious.
They just fall back into their nature, like Uwe was saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't force a goal upon them, then their goal is going to be what you just said, Rob. Yes, you have to force a goal upon them.
They're just rebellious.
well, I mean, I'm hearing what y'all saying, and I'm just thinking, time has passed. Women have gotten more rights. Women have been able to get homes. Women have been able to buy cars. Women have bank account.
mhm.
All this stuff that they say that was oppressive to them, even though it was happening to other folks too. But that's beside the point. Okay, so you got freedom, you got jobs, and you got all this stuff now. And I'm gonna say, with all the stuff they have begin, has the whole rate seemed to have moved up? I'm gonna say, as far as I can tell, it seemed to have moved up because at least women were still getting married. I'm not saying every woman who got married was a good woman, but if you were at least married, even if you was gonna cheat, how many niggas you gonna cheat with? because you was a married woman. It's like, how many other dicks could you really maintain while maintaining your family situation? So the only thing really stopping women from being hoes in the black communities is because it sounds like what the panel is somewhat coming to the conclusion is the only thing that has really stopped black women is opportunity.
Roger, can I say something real quick, brother?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, check me out on this, man. I agree with a lot of what I'm hearing, but I think shame, honestly, is why we got so much of a problem with these broads getting buck wild today. We need to bring shame back, man. We need to bring shame back that you walking around in Kroger with your ass out. We shouldn't be able to see the tattoo on your left butt cheek and you walking around in Kroger holding on to Clavante Jr. You feel me? It's wrong. And I see it too much. I look at it. Sometimes I even snap a picture of it. If she's close enough, I might smack it. But that's beside the point. There's too much of that going on. There's way too much of that going on. But we need some shame out here. But for real though, I'm gonna say it like this here, man. I remember back in the 90s, and you look at the TV shows, black TV shows, the 80s, the 90s, and even the movies, even in the early 2000s, how women would diss each other is, well, so-and-so, you ain't got no man. B, you ain't got no man. You ain't got no man. You don't see them say that no more. That's not a flex no more to have a man. And in order for you to have a man, yeah, you might be getting it in, hoeing a little bit on the slick where nobody know about it, but you can't just be full-fledged out in the open like Sierra doing, twerking at gas stations with little cut-off booty shorts late night while Simp Wilson is at home with the trap niggas' kids. You can't do that.
Hey, King Grove, man, I'm not disagreeing with you. I guess I have a little pushback, man. Shame ain't enough, brother. We need rules and we need some type of discipline, some type of punishment, man.
How you
Shame
gonna
ain't
enforce
enough.
it
Not
though, my
these
man?
days. We can't. We don't have it. I'm just saying.
I think
Shame ain't. I don't. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it needs to be public. It needs to be public and everything else. That's the only way you can stop this type of stuff and everything else.
Okay, well then I got to ask the question: how
Okay.
can you get to a point of punishment being an issue? Well, matter of fact, let me read this before I say what I say. Because shout out to Black Rule Strikes. He says men had more control to limit it. Men knew wayward women were going to Men knew wayward women were going to result in families being torn apart, and men would end up killing each other and some other man's kids they thought were theirs. So yeah, men were having, I guess, you would say, is that a visceral reaction towards things like this back in the day? But these type of things are not generally accepted nowadays, and that's just a real thing. You just can't, run off and eliminate a brother or whatever, and people just gonna accept, hey, it is what it is. Unfortunately, that is how the environment is now. So now, what was I about to say? So now, the thing is, to keep the women in check, how can men check women if we buy into the excuses? Because to me, I do think we present certain things as men to say what the women are doing is as an excuse. Because if I can't deal with my woman how I want to deal with my woman, then how am I supposed to help us from a collective standpoint? If I got a woman that I'm checking, and then other men want to get on me because I'm checking my woman, how are we supposed to keep things in check? Because I've said time and time again, I don't get into nobody else's business like that. If some man is handling his business with his woman, it doesn't make any difference to me what his approach is. If he slap her, hey, it is what it is. I didn't tell her to get with no man that's gonna slap her upside the head. You know what I'm saying? And I go to the violent part only because I know that's like so triggering for a lot of people. If he slap her, man, that's their business. She with him. What am I supposed to tell a woman who's having sex with the man who's slapping her?
Now, Roger,
Obviously, it's cool.
I got a question for you, Roger.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure you saw that man slap that trick with his hand, or did that woman aggressively and violently slap that man's hand with the side of her face? You have to ask yourself this
Good
question.
question. Good question. Good question.
Well, I'm gonna say this. To me, it doesn't make a difference because they're having sex with each other. Why would I try to regulate another man on the woman he's having sex with? That doesn't
Hey,
make sense to
Rod,
me. Because
I agree. My bad. Go ahead, Rod.
I
My
just
bad.
want to say, this little piece. If I accept it's okay to regulate him, and that's the woman he's having sex with, then by default, I'm saying it's okay for some other man to regulate me about a woman I'm having sex with. So I can't go there. Go ahead,
No,
J-Lo.
I agree. Well, agree 100% with what you're saying. But what when Johnny Law show up, then what's gonna happen then? When she called Johnny Law on him, what's gonna happen?
Well, see, and I think that's part of the problem that black men haven't been taught. If she called Johnny Law, it's time to leave.
The
It's
relationship
over with.
over with. Relationship over with.
Yeah, it's dead. Just because you made the phone call, it don't even make a difference how it came out. You made the call. So once a woman tells you, because this is y'all, this is what I say about communication. They say a lot of stuff to us, but it don't be words. Once she called the police on you, she just told you what I'm looking to have happen is someone of a higher authority regulate my relationship until I get what I want to happen. Because that's why she called. She wants you to see, Johnny Law as a higher authority. So now whatever you think is okay is not okay. Now, why should I desire to be with a woman who honestly doesn't want my leadership? Because if you call for somebody else's leadership, you are rejecting mine.
Nice.
Now I'm a man. I don't want to be with a woman who need another leader. It's that simple to me. I don't want your daddy to be your leader if I'm with you. I don't want your brother to be your leader if I'm with you. Point blank, I don't want my brother to be your leader if I'm with you. I don't want my dad to be your leader if I'm with you. I don't need you to have a different leader. I need to be the leader. And if I'm not the leader, I don't understand why I need to be there. It's that simple to me. Most men haven't been taught this. And that's why I believe that this is why most men, we accept so many excuses. I'm not ever gonna deny environment won't have repercussions because how you grow up is how you grow up, and people believe in stuff. People see things as normal when you see it as a child. You have to be taught certain things. So whatever you see as a kid is very normal to you. And I know that's how people get their starting point. But at the end of the day, if you live in America, I don't know what the ages are in other countries, but if you live in America, you're an adult now. You may not be grown, but you're an adult. I don't want to hear a bunch of excuses. That's it. If I'm with a woman, we'll give each other passes because she's my woman. Because I'm not perfect, so she's going to have to give me a pass on something. She's not perfect, so I'm going to have to give her a pass on something. But from a societal standpoint, this society don't really give me passes as a black man, so I ain't got a bunch of passes I had to give out to people. And people would say, well, you being mean, Roger. That's not fair. Well, life ain't fair. And if you think it's mean, that's fine. You have a right to your opinion. I'm not going to even try to convince you it's not mean. Everything not cool. That's simple at the end of the day. It ain't fair to me, you know? Why you want me to cry that life ain't fair to you when life ain't never been fair to me? You think I'm going to shed tears over that? Because I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to agree with you. You right. It ain't fair. I told y'all before, police stole my money twice. That's not fair. I'm a taxpaying citizen. And the police
What
done
was you
stole
doing,
from me.
Roger? What was you doing, Roger, to make police want to take your money?
DWB, right? DWB.
And you see that's how people look at it too. On some real talk. So what did I do for them to steal from me? Like I gotta
DWB.
make somebody steal from me.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's
Well,
the
look,
whole idea when it comes to stealing.
I
They
ain't gonna
don't need
question.
permission.
I ain't gonna question one of these queen mother goddesses out here, so I got to question you, Roger. I got to question you.
No, I get you. I get you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just throwing out there, the main point about being stolen from is that permission was not granted. That's what makes it theft.
Straight up.
It ain't
For
theft
real.
if you said okay.
Yeah, man.
So now my thing is, as a black man, who deals with the quote unquote harshest part of the American environment, everybody can make their arguments about their own country. I don't make arguments for other people's country because I know stuff that's similar, but I don't know all the complex details that go on in other places. But I do know America. So if I'm the man who's gonna run into the most problems, and I'm the man, even when it comes to black women that should have the least amount of excuses, then why would any of their excuses be valid when I think about them? See, and I try to get women to understand that I can't really see you as having a valid excuse, because when you look at black men, we don't get no excuse. If we don't got no excuse and the environment is harsher to us than any other man in this country, then why would you think that my counterpart should have an excuse that's worthy of anything?
Well, I got a theory on that. Check this out, Brother Roger. I've been noticing something lately, and I saw it yesterday again. It just hit close to home. You know what I'm saying? One of them was trying to show me her little body. She had a nice little BBL body. You know what I'm saying? She was built with the long, little frizzy, yacky, little whatever it was. And because of her profession, I was instantly turned off. I was in a, affluent area. I'm like, chick, I'm over here to do business and pay bills. I'm not looking for you. I can find you over there next to the projects. I ain't come over here for you. A lot of them, brother, are dropping off of these clerical jobs, these receptionist jobs, administrative assistant jobs, teacher jobs. You know why? Because just like you say, they cannot fit into a capacity that will not allow them to not make excuses no more. When you actually have to perform on a daily basis and have a certain code of ethics and conduct, these new modern B-dubs are not able to fit that mold. So what are a lot of them doing now? They're going into truck driving. Because when you truck driving, you can cuss, you can wear a bonnet, you can twerk your booty down the highway. You can do whatever it is make you happy. You can sing Sexy Red with the volume turned up so loud it busts your left eardrum. You feel me? You ain't got to brush your teeth. You can have a dirty sports bra on. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing. It's all to the good. So I'm seeing they want to be independent, not just from the workforce and rules. They want to be independent from us as well. And this is why, what I'm saying, they're not trying to get up under men's leadership and authority no more. And if they do, like the other brother said with the Mike Obama picture, what I'm saying, it's gonna be the white man, it's gonna be a mixed dude, mulatto, or somebody with the good hair so they can have some mixed looking ass babies. Church.
Now,
King
that's the
snuck one
most
in there, man.
that's the most hilarious reason I've ever heard to become a truck driver. Real talk. Not saying it ain't true, but it's never been presented quite like that, But it does make sense. It does make sense. Now, and my thing is, we as men, I do think we should change our attitude about women and their excuses, because we will say stuff like, well, the environment and this. I don't care about the environment. So you had a tough environment. And okay, a lot of people had tough environments. I'm not saying I had the worst life. I know people who done had to deal with situations far worse than mine, but they had to make it anyway. So I don't care. Yeah, America is not the most conducive environment for a black woman to actually, quote unquote, just be in her femininity and just be okay. It's not. I'm not going to even say that it ain't. I just don't care that it ain't. You should be able to perform at I ain't even saying you got to perform at the highest level, but you should be able to perform at a decent level, regardless of your environment. How much credit do I give an environment versus a person that can think? Animals do crazy stuff, but animals only have instincts. They are regulated to their instincts. Some of their intelligence is basically extremely low in comparison to a human. Because people might start arguing about animal intelligence. is low in comparison to a human. So when you have low intelligence and you have your instincts, and that's what you're regulated to. And we're humans who we got instincts on top of being able to truly able to process information. We can figure out stuff that animals can't. If an animal can figure out how to act right in this environment, how can a human? It just don't make sense to me. Animals know how to operate whatever environment you present to them. How can a human not do the same thing?
You make valid points, Roger, regarding very quickly, Jado. You make valid points regarding about the black women having what it they have enough, like you mentioned, to get to practice some level of but you also recognize how far, of course, the template they have is that they're using, and how late they get into the game sometimes when they get a chance to even recognize that it's not a bad or find a good template. So, and the abundance of them that actually begin in that position, and then so I agree it's the same thing for the boys. Don't get me wrong, but if you look at stats like, for example, how the average black male makes versus the average white male, it's like a small number, like a few $1,000 is the difference. But so it's like, but if you were to look at like how marriage affects white women versus how I'm saying marriage affects black women, it's not even close, right? So it's like, so even though men can actually find ways to compensate for not being properly trained, you get what I'm saying? It's just, it really is not the same. You get what I'm saying, Roger? It's kind of like,
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Mr. Z has joined us, y'all. So let me usher the mic to him. Mr. Z, you got it, brother.
What's going on? What's going on? Thanks for having me up. Let me do this, Raj. I don't want to read it. I want someone else to read it. Can somebody read what I put in the back chat, please and thank you? I'm nominating either J Doe or no placeholder. But yeah, but Raj, you can do. I'll you can do, Raj. Yeah. Go ahead. Somebody read the comment for me, because that says a lot about. Yeah,
I'll read it. Negative liberty or freedom from is the absence of external constraints or interference by other people. It means you are free to act without anyone forcing you to do something you don't want to do or stopping you from doing something you want to do. For example, you have negative liberty to speak your mind if no one physically prevents you from talking.
Thank you. Why did Raj? You know why? Why are you laughing, Raj? Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Because what are y'all talking about? What? Because I've been listening in little by little here and there. What are y'all talking about? What is our issue?
To me, that's to me, there's a serious issue among black men where we accept women's excuses, and we just don't live in a society where it's even necessary.
Mm-hmm. Okay. With that, let me make sure that I read this again. Okay. Using their excuses, right? It means you are free to act without anyone forcing you to do something you don't want to do or stopping you from doing something you want to do. I agree with Raj on this. They're doing what they want to do. It is not a lack of knowledge. They're doing what they want to do.
Yep.
This is how they see freedom. This is how they see liberation. This is why y'all see Mr. Z stress this on his channel. This is why I stress it on Raj's channel. Everywhere I go, it's negative liberty. They see you. They see the state. They see any norms as being constraining. In their mind, any norms, any rules are constraining. We tell them don't wear the septum rings, they triple down on that. We tell them leave the weeds alone, they triple down on it. We tell them, hey, the BBLs, that's cute if I want to pipe, but I'm sorry about my background. They triple down on that. They triple down on everything we do. We tell them leave the bonnets alone, leave the lashes alone. They triple down on it because they want to show you and tell you you cannot, quote unquote, restrain or constrain me. I'm gonna do it exactly because you said you're not attracted to it. They're doing what they want to do. Black women are doing what they want to do. And they're playing chicken with you and your sensibilities because they know there's going to be some simp that's going to deal with them and save them. And last minute, Hail Mary baby when they 40 something.
You're right
Yep.
about that. Wait, so
Exactly.
Z,
You're
should we
right.
like should we do like Jedi mind tricks on them and tell them that we do like BBLs?
No, hysterical. What no, what I would say is leave them to their own device. This is y'all see if y'all notice how I've been speaking lately. I'm about to tell you, do what you want, but I don't owe you anything. If you're not on my program, then I owe you nothing. If black women don't want to be on black men's program, we owe them nothing. Shout out to the Roger Report who got me to see this a little differently. The contract is the contract. Y'all ain't adhering to the contract, so you get nothing. That's why I keep on playing them clips over and over again.
Okay,
That's what it is for me.
Mr.
Go
Z,
ahead.
I have a question for you. Okay, what is the option for the black man if black women don't want to or are doing all this type of stuff? Is it time for us to just go ahead and just get a passport, find other women from other races and everything else?
I think that you should explore all. I'm gonna sound like a black woman. I think you should be open and explore all of your options. Isn't that what they say? NYSBM, passport bros, the Jergens lotion. Look, Mr. D, look, all of it. Hobbies, going back to school. Just don't get into debt. They get into. I'm all for it. Preoccupy your time. Look, this is what I'm saying. I will not be chickened out by a group of women who are defective and that's giving me the middle finger. Somebody gonna starve and it ain't gonna be me. So this is what I want to emphasize this to us. Roger title is women's excuses. What I'm emphasizing by reading Negative Liberty is saying they're doing what they want to do. This is what they see as freeing. This is what they see as liberatory. This is what they see as them and their autonomy. They are conducting themselves the way they want. And y'all know Mr. Z gonna say, God damn, don't say it. I'm gonna say it. Because they're not fucking white. Excuse my language, Roger. I know we try to cut down on the profanity on Roger's channel. My apologies. Because they're not white and they're throwing a goddamn adult temper tantrum because they're not white. That's what all this comes down to. Why follow rules? Why follow norms? Y'all got me on the same planet with these white women, and I don't get to be white, so F everything in the whole system and everybody. But once again, because they're closely attached to us, unfortunately, we're the ones who got to feel it. I say, no, we don't. Just saying.
Hey, no, you dropping jewels, Mr. Z. I just wanted to add to that and relate it back to what when Roger, you were talking about the animals, how they can get it right. And because they don't have that negative liberty that Mr. Z is speaking of, because if they don't get it right, guess what they have looming over them? Death.
Death.
Death. Extreme consequences. And the women are intelligent enough to know that they have this negative liberty at this, so they're going to use it.
But Jado, black women do have extreme consequences. The system was able, and this is not just a black woman thing. The system's been patting them for decades. Y'all got a different type of authority in Pennsylvania Avenue right now, and they ain't going. They ain't going. So it's a new day. They're not going. So the reason why black women were able to give you their ass kiss so blatantly over the past few decades is because of that padding of their wallets. It's because of the subsidizing. Shout out to Black Ooh. Somebody gonna have to pay for these hoes. But when the state says it ain't gonna be me, it's a different conversation. You gonna have to let them feel it. They gonna have to freeze. They're gonna have to. I'm letting everyone know they're gonna have to freeze. Anything short of that, they ain't gonna get their mind right. And let me be very clear. Some of them are gonna freeze. The ones I'm saying gonna freeze, it's because they didn't get their mind right. Appreciate the Black manosphere. Yeah, we're here, we talk, but we got a lot of brothers that's on some simple stuff, and we got a lot of brothers that's just not up on game. If they're freezing, it's because negative liberty mattered to them more than their own security. You got a choice. You can have your autonomy or you can have the security. You don't get both.
I mean, but is freezing really so bad?
Wait, say that again, Ross. I missed you. You said the freezing is so bad?
Is freezing really so bad? No, I'm being for real, y'all. It's like it's like the thing I don't remember exactly what they said, but it's something like living like as a rock star. Like you live as a rock star, you get famous, you get rich, you can do basically what you want, you can get away with all kinds of stuff as a rock star, and then you die early, like you die in your 40s or something like that, but you lived as a rock star. Life was just fantastic.
Or you can be
Shit, not
more of a
even that,
regular.
Raj. 28, 28, 27. You out of here.
Yeah, or you could, okay, so you can die nice and young, but you have this great, fantastic life, millions of dollars at your disposal, get away with all kinds of stuff. Or you can be more of a regular person, have a decent life, maybe live to your 80s, 90s, whatever the case is. It's like, which would you choose? So if you choose the rock star life, not to throw dirt on his name, but let's say Heath Ledger. You know, Heath Ledger had a breakout role as the Joker, and then he died. I mean, he got some fame, he got some money, he had enough money to kill himself. Is that so bad? Or do I just accept it as that's what he wanted with his life, and I don't worry about it? I don't think about it like, oh, it's so terrible that he died. Or he got to do exactly what he wanted to do, and he did such a heck of a job that we all appreciated. Just about, I've never really heard anybody criticize him as the Joker, and I believe many people anticipated him being in future movies as the Joker. It seemed like everybody liked him as the Joker. But he did live the life he wanted to live.
Let,
He just died.
let, 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 let me ask you this, Raj. I want to ask everybody this. What happened to Amy Whitehouse?
She crashed and
Huh?
burned.
Okay, what happened to
God
Jimi
bless.
Hendrix?
Crashed and burned.
Okay, what happened to Pac? As much as we love him,
Crashed and burned.
what happened to Biggie?
Crashed and burned.
All of
Diddy.
them in their mid to late 20s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then that's what it costs. That's what it costs.
But the
Just
bad
saying.
part about black women is instead of them crashing and burning, they just gonna have a long crash because they're gonna be 40, 60 years old, still out like Roger said, still freezing. So they didn't did it all crazy like Biggie and them did, hit 30, and it's just a long crash. You know how when the car be tumbling, like rolling over and over and over and over, and it's going in slow motion, and everything is going crazy in the car. The coffee didn't spill. That's what they about to be in for.
They even worse than that. They like them crash test dummies. They get in the car, buckle up, crash into the wall, reposition themselves, and go run into another wall all over again.
You
Pick
you
them
you
up.
you 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 lie, you a damn lie. You a damn lie because you said seatbelt. Ain't no seatbelt. They flying right out the window. Once they hit whatever they gonna hit, ain't no seatbelt. They
Hey,
go right through that window.
nah, that's my point though. It's a seatbelt, but they run into the wall so hard the seatbelt ain't saving them.
God damn.
That's my point.
I,
And I'm
I
gonna tell
think
you, go ahead.
I think they doing a slow motion roll down Mount Everest.
Man, what did Blade say?
That's a long
What?
ass fall. That's
Hey,
a
hey,
long goddamn.
Wesley Snipes, like he said, I'm gonna tell you, these modern B dubs is just like what Blade said at the end of the first movie. Some mofokers are always trying to
Yeah.
upskate uphill.
Skate
Yeah.
uphill. Skate
Well,
Yeah,
uphill.
man.
No.
well, well, I'm gonna
And
say
let me
this
end up with.
though.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I want to say this now. The thing is, I mean, death is a finality. Is death is final. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing else beyond that as far as the human world is concerned. I do believe the crash out started happening to them, a lot of them around the age of 30 years old. That's when they really started feeling the pressure of not having a good man around. And I think for us is I don't think we should look at it as like they haven't crashed out. It's just their crash out is just a very long process. It could be a process that takes 30 to 40 years of them crashing out. But my thing is you crashed out at 30. And now you just having it's all the same impact. Like, if the dummy hits the car, hits the wall, is going through the window. It's all the same crash. It's just your crash takes a long time. That's how I see it. You've already
Can,
crashed.
can I bridge the gap?
Yeah.
Let me bridge the gap between what you're saying, Raj, and I'm gonna jump off. It's a social death first. The term social death. You have different type of death. Obviously, like Raj said, there's the permanent death. There's what we all know is the finale. You out of here. We ain't never gonna see you again. But then there's the zombies, the social death. You
Mm.
work a job. You got a 9 to 5. You might have kids, but your daily routine is just a regular daily routine. Ain't nothing different. Ain't nothing exciting. You're in poverty. You're in the struggle. Right? It's a social death. You exist. Are you living? Are you living? You exist. You eat unhealthy food. You do what you want to do. You get in the street fights in your 40s, right? Like you exist, right? But there's no dreams or aspirations for the most part, or there are dreams, but that they're way off dreams. You ain't never gonna see that, right? So it's a social death. You exist, you're breathing, right? But are you quote unquote living,
Nope.
right? Are you truly experiencing life, or are you just existing until you meet that final death? So yeah, no, it's a social, and there are a number of folks that are experiencing this, namely Black women,
Vivica
and
Fox.
that's the cost. Yeah, no, not her, because she got to live a life, right?
Yeah, but
There is
her
a.
car is
Go
rolling
ahead.
now. She
No, yeah, oh
fishtailing
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah. No,
rolling.
no, no. Her car is definitely rolling. Her car is definitely rolling. And there's a number of these folks, and you can hear it in their tone of voice when they say certain things. You can hear it in Regina Hall's voice, right? You 50 years
Yeah.
old, and you talk about your vagina and how good it is. Come
Well,
on, man.
let me say real quick.
Go ahead.
When you start talking about rich and famous people, that's an extreme version of the same thing normal people are going through.
Yeah.
Vivica, yeah, she's crashing out, and we can kind of see it right now. And she was able to prolong it a little bit because she was rich and famous. Most women won't have the advantage of being rich and famous. Lori Harvey, she's, what I'm saying, it's going to happen to her, but she has the advantage of being rich and famous right now. So everybody's not going to see how stupid she is right now. I see how stupid she is. You know what I'm saying? But the average guy ain't going to see her stupidity right now because she's still attractive. She's still, technically, she's young. She's not even in her 30s yet. And she has some money. And she has access to men with money. So hers going to be, if I'm expecting she's going to crash out. I don't think she's ever going to get married. And I think it's going to really hurt. Real talk. I actually have said before, I believe she's going to end up messing with Steve Harvey at the end of the day.
Ooh-wee.
Whoa,
Remember,
really?
Steve Harvey is not her actual father.
That's true.
On some Morgan Freeman type shit.
Morgan Freeman
Let me
type of
let
stuff.
me let,
Let me
let me end
real
out with
quick.
this, y'all.
Let me take
Okay, go
before you go, Miss Z. I'm gonna say this
Okay.
is the thing. I'm not saying Steve Harvey don't like the wife that he got. Okay, but she's gonna get older too, and when she kind of out the game, you know what I'm saying? Lori's probably going to replace Steve Harvey because she's going to be comfortable with Steve Harvey from knowing him for so many years and so many decades at that particular point when all that stuff starts going down. When Steve Harvey ain't on TV no more, you know what I'm saying? When he in his 70s or something like that, ain't got no TV jobs, Lori going to be stuck for a while, then just going to be kind of a natural thing. He going to mess with her. Just is what it
That's an
is.
option.
Well, one option could be her going
Yeah.
after a white man.
Well, no. My
I
thing,
was
I'm not gonna focus on. I'm just saying that's my personal theory that how it's probably gonna play out for her because I don't think this woman is smart enough to get a good husband, and that's just real talk.
I
When
feel that.
you fumble Michael B. Jordan. There's no reason for me to believe you're smart enough to get a good husband at this point. But let Mr. Z say what he wanted to say because he said he's gonna dip out.
Yeah, I'm about to dip out. No, you fumbled two of the faces of Black Hollywood right now. Michael B. Jordan, if I'm not mistaken, and what's his name? Dangerous Elba, whatever. I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing his name.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah, no,
him too. Yeah.
you see what I'm saying? So this is the cost of your negative liberty. If y'all recall, when the stories or the rumors were out about them potentially getting hitched, what were Black women saying? No, she's too young. Okay, let me tell you what the the price of your liberty is. Your quote unquote liberty, that liberation, that freedom. Relationship purgatory indefinitely. Relationship purgatory indefinitely. Have fun with that. We just got to tell them, hey, you either on our program or starve. Deal with what you got to deal with outside, whether it's with non-Black men or with Black women or whatever happened out there in the elements. Shout out to Lion. Whatever happened to you outside in the elements happened to you. And if you freeze to death, so be it. So if Lori Harvey, if Lori Harvey, if what it looked like is her ended up with Steve Harvey in the future, so be it.
A good
Right?
point. Ooh. Whoa.
So be it.
Yes,
And for all of the folks that's going to be thrown up in their mouth, all the women that's going to be thrown up in their mouth, just remember, y'all encourage her not to get on Michael B. Jordan's program, however long ago that's going to be, right?
Yeah.
That's what it cost.
You have to
Hey,
That's
speak
it.
up.
I'm
Z,
done. And thanks for having me up, Raj.
Z, before you
Go
Thank
go,
ahead.
you, Mr.
Go
Z.
go
hey,
go.
I'm
Right.
glad you.
Go.
Hold
I want
on,
to meet
before
brother
you
you
go,
one
Layden,
Mr.
day.
Z.
brother Layden
Right.
wife had to pick me up. She had to take me to work and pick me up, and
This Raj, cut this nigga mic off, Raj. Cut this nigga mic off, Raj.
Hey,
Bragging ass.
Z.
low key, I be
Go.
encouraging her to do that. Low key, I be encouraging her to do
You see?
it. Yeah.
But yeah, Raj, thanks for having me up. Shout out to the panel, to the chat. But yeah, man, we just got to call. I really, I'm evolving with this, and to be frank, y'all are right. Mr. Z do care. With that, the second you start biting at the fingers, I'm like, okay, then go starve then. And that's what it is. And I think we should just let them know that, hey, if you want to do them the courtesy of letting them know, I'm with Raj. Sometimes you don't even
Don't
want
let
to
them
let
know.
them have the courtesy, right? But yeah, just freeze, just free, and whatever that look like. And I'll end up with that. They're gonna try to shame you. For all of us millennials, we early 40s, 30s, late 20s. I want y'all to appreciate. They're gonna try to shame. Give it another tomorrow. They're gonna be trying to shame you. I just want you to know, and it's up to you whether you'll give her a side chick application or not. And I'm done. All right, y'all.
And
Skip.
you know the government just shut down, so shit about to get real shaky.
Hey, man, they live in America. They'll be all right. That's my answer to all they
Bro,
problems. You live in America, you'll be all right.
speaking speaking of the government, this is something that they're not paying attention to. Donald Trump and this cabinet have pulled the rug under all women, white women included, with this DEI thing. See, the white women are complaining too. The white women are complaining about their Section 8 being pulled out from under them and everything. And black women have followed white women's lead for decades now. It's going to be worse for them than it's for the white women, because the white women going to repent and go back to their husbands. Man, it's going to get real ugly. This is the end of the fiscal year this month. It's going to
Yep.
be real ugly in about 6 months.
They didn't
But
cut
don't
Section 8.
forget though.
They cut
But
Section 8 to 2 years.
oh
The
yeah.
fat hoes can't get the snacks they used to get no more. It's
Hmm.
about to get real out here, B.
Invest in gym locations. Invest in like Planet Fitness, LA Fitness. You need to try to buy some gym locations because they're gonna be trying to work off them fat bellies. And don't forget the snow bunnies and the Latinas got the advantage over the attractive sisters because they can always go get a middle class or well-to-do brother, or even a brother that works at the hardware store, but he's a decent, man. They can
Or
get that.
or
That's
A
right.
brother
or
be glad to get some real hair and a good
Filipinas.
attitude.
Don't forget the Filipinas.
Oh yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, at the end of the day, I'm just gonna say, I personally don't know where DEI has affected me yet. So, I'm okay with things. He's doing stuff that because I say like if I was in control, I wouldn't even just cut people off Section 8. I would have gently pushed people off Section. I would have just made it where nobody else could apply for it anymore, and then the people that was on it would have just died. And I'm not saying Section 8, all the welfare program. I would have just made it where nobody else can get new welfare. You know what I'm saying? Just no new applications, and let the people who's on it just they'll die off eventually, which will save money on the budget every single year because more people will be dead. That's just how things work in life. But I'm gonna say this: when they do start to suffer at the point that they can quote unquote feel it. Now, I don't know how that's going to affect any woman as an individual. Some of them may get put out of a home. Some of them may be taken off all the different type of cars they are. I know there's like cars they use that back in the day was food stamps. Now I think in my area it's called EBT.
Yeah.
Well, matter of fact, I know it's EBT in my area. I know at other places it's been called some other things, so I don't know all the different variations. But when that type of stuff happens, and that's when they gonna know it's real. And y'all know a lot of folks ain't gonna prepare for nothing else. What are black women gonna do at that particular point? I'm just gonna say I don't know outside of begging. Okay,
Well,
I'm pretty sure they're gonna offer up the box a little bit more than they've been doing previously, and it's just gonna be up to black men or whether they want to take it or not.
Yeah,
Now,
black men gonna be right there
I
like
got
Michael
$20 on it.
Jackson in that song. Just call my name and I'll be there. Niggas is gonna be right there. They don't simping asses.
Well, I mean, I do think there would be a good amount of men who would be available to take advantage of certain services that's going to be a little more out there at this particular point. I definitely believe that's going to happen.
I'm different though. I
I got
ain't gonna
$20
lie. I
on
don't
the
want.
light bill, baby. Come on.
Yeah, I don't. I don't want to go when I'm in the mall walking around the food court. I don't want to buy the Panda Express meal. Just give me a couple of them samples on the toothpick, and I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm not buying.
Well, it's gonna be some women out there hungry, y'all, and I do believe it's gonna be some men who stop to eat at a mall or something somewhere. Even though malls ain't gonna really be out there like that, but whatever men go to eat in the public place, I do think it's gonna be some women begging to join you for a meal.
I'm
Would you
gonna
mind buying
start
me
posting
something to eat
videos of
with
me
you?
at the steakhouse. I'm post, just like they like to take pictures of their meal. I'm gonna be taking pictures of my steak and potatoes and asparagus and posting on the internet. And I'm gonna be like, yeah, it's just me and me alone. Yeah, yeah.
A Red Lobster ain't gonna sound so bad for a first date anymore.
Cheddar Bay biscuits, baby.
Oh man, damn, that's low, Roger.
Yeah, yeah.
All of a sudden, Cheesecake Factory, even though it's a chain, sound like a great
Don't be
idea.
looking good.
What you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm talking about shit. They better get a Happy Meal and a Slurpee from 7-Eleven. Be happy with that.
Well, I mean, they're gonna have some interesting choices, but I do think a lot of women aren't gonna really prepare for those choices. And I do believe there will be a slight amount of chaos going on because what are people going to do? People who don't prepare for certain things, um, the natural thing to do is go to your mom's house. If you get put out, people have a mother. The natural thing to do is to go to your mom's house. I've said before, like, if everything fell apart in my world, I know I could just go to my mom's place and I'd be okay. She ain't gonna ask me no questions. Well, she ain't gonna like put me out or make me qualify to get in. I can just get in. She's my mother. Of course, she's gonna ask me what's going on in my life. Well, I need to live with her, but she's not gonna ask where if I say the wrong answer, I can't stay there. So now the
But
thing is,
Roger, their mama's on Section 8 too.
that's exactly what I was about to bring up. Now,
And
I
if
don't
they,
know what you can do when you on Section 8, your mama's on Section 8, and then your grandmama's on Section 8. And some people say, well, Roger, now you're being extreme. What I have found out about Black women in America is that when women are on programs, women who've been on programs teach their daughters how to get on the programs. And that's kind of how the stuff has been moving along. It's be the very women who now had a daughter that has reached a certain age and she's going to teach her daughter how to access the programs and all that type of stuff. So even though y'all may think it's a joke that I'm saying that, she on Section 8, her mom on Section 8, her grandma on Section 8, no, that's going to be a real thing for a lot of women. It's going to be a very real thing. So if they get put out of their Section 8 apartments, which I don't know the extent of how much is going to happen, because again, y'all, this stuff doesn't really affect me because I live in a world where I got to go get it myself. So I don't know how bad anything is going to be. I don't understand how it's going to affect me, though. I will say that. I don't understand how it's going to affect me.
well, back to the title of the show. Just don't be accepting no excuses anymore. You did what you did. You did what you did. Now you got to live in the cold with it.
And I'm going to say this to y'all. This is America. You still have a right to build it yourself. You can go get a job, buy some land, get a permit or whatever, depending upon where you get it at, and you can still build it yourself. It's still allowed. I don't know how much it's going to cost you, but you can build it yourself. So I don't see that. I don't see Black women being like out of luck. I know a lot of people think being homeless is like the worst thing that can happen to you. I don't ever want to be homeless, and I'm gonna do just about anything I can to do to avoid being homeless. But I would say being homeless in America probably ain't the worst thing in the world. Now, you can still earn money for yourself. You can eventually put yourself in a home. I know people say, well, if you ain't got no home, you can't even apply for a job. You ain't got no address. You are literally allowed to work for yourself in this country. And I think some of the best advice my father ever gave me, He said, son, if they won't give you a job, give yourself one. It's okay to be a critical thinker in this country. You can make it. And since you got all them kids running around, you can teach them all how to get a business off the ground. You know, now coming to Roger saying you need some help, more than likely it's going to be a waste of time. Because I'm not going to mock nobody for being in a bad situation, but I'm not going to go. I've already rejected the ideal of helping things that help only women. You know, I don't do I'll use those back to school things regularly as the example. The day I realized every time I gave money to some back to school stuff, I was literally helping women go the wrong path. Because if I buy your kid a book bag, I ain't got nothing against your kid. But if I buy your kid a book bag, that means you can continue to rebel against that child's father. And if nothing else, if you can't buy your kid some back to school supplies, I think it's time to turn that kid over to his father. I ain't saying y'all got to get back together, but I think it's time to turn that kid over to his father because you can't even get him to school okay. And when you think about it, that don't make sense. But we make excuses for women, so we don't look at stuff that way. I am saying, y'all, we as men have to really start having real changes in our viewpoints about how we look at women. And we, even though there's stuff going on, how much validity should we give it? Because as a black woman, she's gonna have a worse way to go about things. She is. I'm not gonna even say that that's not true. But do I care? Do they care that you got it worse? Because last time I checked, black women take the point of, since you got it worse, F you. You know, I'm a black man. I gotta work twice as hard to get half as much. Well, since that's the case, F you. Well, you know, I'm a black man. We got to achieve our own power, per se. Okay. Well, since it's tougher for you to get it, screw you.
Nah, hold on. This is guy, but I just went on Instagram. They said this lady from San Mateo is using a digital billboard to search for a husband. That's how bad it's gotten.
Well, I mean, she's from a different environment. Maybe she values a husband that much. Real talk. I think black women probably need to copy. If she's doing something to help her get a husband, probably need to copy her.
Yeah, I think they do.
Yeah.
So Roger, if they,
Hey, that woman that made that billboard, what nationality is she?
Why you asking me them crazy ass questions? You know she white. Ain't no black woman thinking like that.
I told you the white women gonna repent. They gonna repent.
you damn right. She bought a billboard. She repenting hard.
Yeah, she put her back into it. Yeah, she put her back into it. Go ahead, though, placeholder. What was you about to ask or say?
So what I want to add is that so if you acknowledge and accept that they're, when given the opportunity to be who they are, they're going to be what they are in front of us right now. So is that, because keep in mind that the femininity that we crave was something that was taught to them, and that was taught to them as a result of us having control of the environment and having control of the power structure and the policy. So now that does it make sense to crave something where you don't really have the environment to actually be able to facilitate that in any mass way? So what I'm saying, so is it now this point you're like, okay, let's give up on the roles and paths, because you said.
Well, I would say this. My thing has always been to encourage black men to do what they can, because there's a lot we can do before you have to deal with quote unquote government structures. So at the end of the day, you just got to rule your home, and you got to tell a woman what the rules is in your home. If you're gonna be here, you're going to be feminine. If you're gonna be here, you're going to cook. You're going to clean. If you have a job outside the home, you're going to turn your money over to me. And if this stuff makes you uncomfortable, you just can't live here.
But what I'm trying to say, Roger, is that even in that environment, what you're saying is that you're taking the female as she is, and then you're going to tell her to do these things that she probably would have to learn it. So you're kind of like doing the same thing. I'm saying, you get what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that like you used to be able to get this in mass production, and the whole idea is that that's why it seems like quote unquote back in the day because it was mass production. So, but now you're saying that the approach you're going to have is that you're going to take them unprepared because that's what mass production is today, and then said you're going to be feminine and you're going to cook. So,
Well, I mean, in some cases, you just get thrown in the water and you got to figure it out. That's the thing. Sometimes you thrown in the water, you got to learn to swim on the fly. Either learn to swim or drown.
Hey,
no,
Roger.
yeah,
I think one thing we can say is that if we really want the situation like that, we just have to stop dating all these women and wait for a new generation that's going to act right. Because these ones are a lot of these girls are just they're out of control. So we just have to stop dating them
who's
uh, and try to find
who's going to
a new crop of
Well,
women that's going
I,
to act right.
well, my thing is,
who's going to teach these girls?
men are different ages, so I just can't. I say if that's your choice, sure, but you got to understand, major changes don't really happen for 10, 20, 30 years over time. If you want a change as an individual man, whether you are 18 to 81, the thing is what are you gonna tolerate? It's that simple
Yeah,
at the end of
correct,
the day.
correct.
That's
Because
all you can really deal with.
you control your destiny, and you have to control whatever woman's going to be with you, whether what color she is. Or you have to
Yeah.
say, this is what I expect, and I want you to do this.
And what I'm saying is too, if men do it as an individual thing, and you understand, have an understanding, we are part of a community where black men leadership actually matters. You got to understand that I got to do stuff that maybe I'm not even comfortable with because I got to do it for the community. If my wife is working and she gets a paycheck, that money has to come to me because it's about the community at the end of the day. It ain't just about me getting her money. It's not that I'm trying to quote unquote rule over her. If I'm going to allow my wife to be a blessing to another man's family, she gonna have to also bless my family. And if she keeps her money, she can't do that. That money has to
Yeah,
be spent on household stuff.
but what I'm trying to say, Roger, is that for that to happen in this environment of freedom, you would have to have a female that has that philosophy already. Because if you try to impose that rule upon another female, you're gonna have issues. Because
I'm
you
not saying
don't
you're
you
wrong.
don't
I would personally
okay.
pursue a woman who already has that way of thinking. That's what I do. I don't try to convince people of stuff. I look for the women who already got it. And that's why I've said before, I get most black women couldn't work with me because they will consider me, they'll use the term patriarchal 9 times out of 10. They'll consider me too patriarchal. And my thing is, if you say that, I'm not gonna argue with you. I am. It is what it is. I'm gonna
Hey,
be in charge,
Roger,
and I'm good with that.
I've been called a tyrant.
My thing is, I don't care what you call. I
Yeah,
just
me
don't.
neither.
It's not even important. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Label it whatever you comfortable with labeling it. But at the end of the day, I know what's gonna work and what's not gonna work. And any woman I deal with has to be pro me. If she's not pro me, I don't want her.
exactly, correct.
You know. But a lot of men ain't never thought about having a woman that's pro them.
It's very rare in this environment to think that because most of the men are indoctrinated into a certain philosophy at a young age where they expect to do for women but not expect anything back from them. But I'm saying,
Sí
but
se puede. Yes, we can. Get out there and go find something else.
turn around, even that in itself is a result of the same thing that we're running away from. It's because those men are still have some level of economic power structure that allows them to practice certain controls
Yeah,
and
I understand
regulation
what you're
that
saying, but a
yeah.
like I said, that's a long-term project. We have to start to
No,
work on
no,
it.
no, no,
But
no. It's more simpler. What I'm saying is that you went to Colombia because Colombia is a certain environment. That's why you were able to get a wife out of that. If Colombia was just like America, you would not be able to get a wife out of Colombia. That's why you don't go to like Europe, for example. You get what I'm saying?
yeah, I get what you're
So
saying. You got to
yeah.
go
So
to the
what I'm saying
environment
to you
that's
is that
fertile. I mean,
yeah.
BGS said you have to find the environment that you fit in. The environment that fits for you. That if you're
Don't,
looking for a certain kind of woman, that's the kind of environment that you have to go to, or you have to build your own environment in
no.
in
It's about
America.
Well, no, that's not possible. What I'm saying is that you're ignoring the reality of the reason why you're able to get a wife, and then at the same time ignoring why you actually don't have a wife here. It's the same thing. That's what I'm saying. You don't have a wife here because of the environment. You're able to find a wife over there because of the environment.
But I brought her into my environment. She's here with me in this
No,
environment.
what I'm
Yeah, but you had, a lot of work had to be done for you to do that. Because number one, you had to say, well, let me go somewhere else to even get a woman. You had to be in position to go get the woman and bring her back over here. There's a whole lot of work to all that at the end of
no,
the
no,
day.
no, no. I'm not trying to dispute his work, Raj. I'm just saying that if he
No, no,
did put that same amount of work and went to Sweden, he would not be able to get the same result. Or, for example, another, you know what I'm saying, she would be just like an American woman. You know what I'm saying?
yes, and and,
So,
and this is the thing that we all got to recognize. The environment that you're trying to escape is actually being put all over the world. I don't actually know the reason why, because I've never actually looked into it. But the rest of the world looks at America in a certain
Listen,
way where they copy us. That's just a real thing. We are very important to other people around the world. I don't know why, because I've never looked into why other people around the world care about what's happening in America so much. I really don't know, but they care. So what happens over here gets copied in other places. But at the end of the day, every black man use whatever is available to you. And like me, I've already come to terms with the fact that if I never find a wife, because I don't ever see myself as world traveling trying to find a wife. I don't see myself doing that. Maybe if I start paying more attention than I did when I was younger, maybe I would have done that. What I'm probably gonna look like, you know, down the road, I'll probably be talked about as those they'll probably call me a selfish nigga. Cause oh, he got a house. Why can't I live with him? He got a nice car. Why can't I live with him? He got this. He got that. Because I'm just gonna keep. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep stuff. I'm kind of old to be thinking about sharing it with a woman. I'm not saying I wouldn't share if I got one that I'm really gonna marry. I just don't. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of old at this point when it comes to wanting to do the work to be a good father. If I'm not really planning to be a good father, I don't know why I'm gonna get married. I'm just keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I meet some young lady who cool and down, great. Okay. But is she gonna be young enough to give me a family? Am I gonna care enough about her to even go along that lines? So I might just be the selfish dude who got this and got that, won't give women nothing. That might just how they see me. I'm okay with that because to me that's a hero. I'm being a hero to young black men. Okay, I'm showing men what your punishment is if you don't bow down to the gynocracy. Your punishment will be you're gonna have to figure out how to spend all the money you make on whatever you want to do. Do whatever you want to spend it on. That's literally gonna be your punishment. You may not have a station wagon. You might have to drive a sports car because you're gonna have to drive what feel good to you, and you may not have to think about how the family's gonna be able to sit in the car. That's gonna be your punishment. You may not live in a neighborhood that you kind of grew up in. You might have to live in a better neighborhood so you can feel good about how you go to sleep at night. That'll be your punishment because you don't have to worry about family and things like that. That might be what you have to suffer from as a man. You may have to go on trips because you want to go. And now you don't have no wife and children stopping you from getting there. You don't have to worry about people's schedules. So now you're just gonna have to go so you can justify why you work so hard. It's some choices you don't have to make as a man. Now I understand people try to promote that they're gonna be terrible choices for you to make. I don't understand where the terrible choices come from when you can spend your money without considering other people. And that's just real talk. So to me, the only terrible thing would be somebody trying to shame a man. And I'm not saying you got to make a bunch of money. You can $40,000 a year. Well, if you ain't got nobody else to spend that 40 on, and you only spend it on yourself, I mean, how many houses you gonna buy? So your money ain't gonna always be going into your house. You might be one of those retired men with a bad, with that pocket change. Y'all know the men used to come to the bar, ride around. You know what I'm saying? Well, let me take that little sweet thing right there for now. Oh, I got $50. What's the going price for nowadays, y'all? $40, right?
Okay, well, what about when these women start getting put out of Section 8 homes and things like that start happening? Price gonna drop.
Today's price is not yesterday's price.
So I just don't understand the
Roger,
horrible
Roger,
thing men gonna have to go through. Go ahead.
Roger, you mean to tell me you gonna hold all that money to yourself and you're not gonna answer not one of them Sierra prayers that's being prayed out here? What's wrong with you, man?
Man, I don't get it, bro. Because real talk, and I'm trying to be a good person, y'all. I admit I'm trying to be a better Christian and everything. But if as I keep getting older, and there's gonna be quote unquote less stuff to buy, what am I doing with the excess money? I don't want to give it
You
to
need
them.
to take care of one of these. You need to take care of one of these former Section 8 babies out here that's gonna be on the street.
I just don't want to do it, man.
That's a Christian. That's a Christian thing to do. To go find one of these Section 8 babies coming off of this program. They don't took a snap and all that. There, you need to go out there and sacrifice all that hard work and living and take care of one of these one of Clevante's babies, man. Don't do that, man.
I'm saying at some point in time, you know what I'm saying? If I don't get married, I'm gonna be that 65-year-old guy. You know what I'm saying? You retired, you know what I'm saying? Your home is paid for, your cars are paid for. You get that little check coming in each month and all that, and you ain't got nobody to spend it on but you.
That ain't right, Roger. That ain't right.
Now you can be getting a bigger check, you can be getting a smaller check. I'm not saying where a person gonna be, but man, once and I do think more men are gonna buy homes because a lot of men we just don't buy homes until we have wives or children. I do think more men are gonna end up buying homes without wives and children just because of how things are going, and just to, so you can protect yourself through your old age. You want to have your own spot or whatever the case is, and you just not gonna be willing to share. And when you start thinking about economic thing, people say, well, it's bad stuff on the horizon because there's always bad stuff on the horizon. You're gonna be like, well, if I start sharing with you, I might come up short. So what I'm supposed to do if I'm 70 years old? You know what I'm saying? I'm not participating on the Roger Report no more. I done turned it over to somebody else, and somebody else got the keys. I ain't doing it no more. I'm just over and done with it. I'm not gonna be out here looking for some woman to share it with. That's not realistic. And I'm saying a bunch of men who are going to be single and never be married. That's going to be the future, whether we pay attention or not. That's going to be the future. What are we really going to be doing out here? We're not going to be looking to rescue women. This is what it is. It's not going to even cross our minds. Think about a 95-year-old Roger. You think I'm going to care about some young broke woman?
Why is she broke though?
Yeah, bro. I'm not going to be thinking about that in the least bit. I'm going to be chilling, doing stuff I like to do. One thing I know I'll be doing in retirement, because I don't get to do it nowadays. Well, at least I don't choose to. As I've told y'all many times, I'm going to be playing Call of Duty. I loved it when I had time to sit there around and play Call of Duty. I will be doing that in retirement. Yes.
Let these bombs go, okay? If a woman has a functional coochie and she's not decently out of shape and she cannot get it together to make it work with a man, then whatever happens to them, happens to them. It's
Well,
easy. It's easy for women to get a man. If they
no,
can't get one to take care of them, that's their problem.
I'm with you all day. I'm just saying, when I'm older in retirement, I'm not going to even be thinking about them. I'm going to be playing Call of Duty. That's the one. That's my goal for retirement, y'all. I'm going to play Call of Duty. Okay.
Or get on a race sim and do some auto racing.
I'm not saying I ain't gonna do other things. I'm just saying I want to make sure I'm good to go. I ain't got no financial problems whatsoever. I'm not gonna quote unquote be looking to share with people. I'll drive the cars myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be a person with a bunch of cars. I'm really never gonna have more than 2 cars. I don't think. I don't plan to ever go past 2 cars. I'm gonna drive those myself. I'm comfortable living alone. I ain't got no issue with that. So I'm not gonna get some woman to come in here and quote unquote make me feel better. Okay? If I mess with some chick, I don't see myself asking her to spend the night. I'm just being realistic.
Don't be
Real
like
talk.
don't be like Bill Belichick.
What Well, I mean, people can do what they want to do. We men, you earn the money, do what you want with it. If you want to bring some trick in your crib and give all your bread, I'm not gonna laugh at you. It's your money, you earned it. Do what you want to do. I'm just saying, realistically, when I'm old and retired, I don't think I'm doing that type of stuff. And I don't think I'm worried about what women are going through. And I'm be like, well, you got a nice car, you can afford this. I got this because I don't pay for y'all. That's why I got this. And I don't think I'm about to change that habit. I'm gonna be just two step my ways at that particular point. So the punishment for a man who doesn't end up marrying one of these women, you're gonna have to learn how to spend all that money on whatever you want to. And I know that's hard for black men when you ain't got a bunch of people trying to tell you how to spend your money. But if you can get to that point where you're comfortable without a bunch of other people trying to tell you how to spend your money, you're gonna have some choices out there. You're gonna have some choices. So, I don't want to hear no woman's excuse because I'm not gonna care. I'm still gonna say excuses are worth 2 dead flies. I'm trying to get that big enough with people saying it all over the place. Real talk. Shout out to the people who taught it to me. I'm trying to make it where you just run into everybody talking about excuses worth 2 dead flies. Okay, but y'all, I'm finna close it out because we definitely passed the 3-hour mark. I'm gonna do this. I get some closing statements real quick. Emperor, we start from your end and we'll work our way over the champ. Any
All
last
right.
statement, Emperor?
All right. The price of a man not getting married is complete freedom. Embrace your freedom, gentlemen. Embrace it. You're free. The hoes, they gave you your freedom papers, and y'all don't want to give them freedom papers. Get your freedom papers and go where you are celebrated, not exploited. Thank you.
Okay. Tunnel Runner, that's on you.
I'm locked down, brothers. She got me eating this food. She making me this juice. I'm locked down, but I'm gonna survive. I'm gonna tough it through. Hallelujah. Protect yourself at all times.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Kevin, it's on you.
This message is for my sisters. You better follow up behind these white women. Rent you a billboard and repent. It is repentant season. Repent. I'm gone.
Jado, you got it.
Yeah, excuses don't have any power unless you give them. Excuses have no power unless you give them power, fellas. So don't accept them. And yeah, that's all I got. Appreciate you having me up.
Hey, appreciate you joining. Pimpin' Sims, you got it, bro.
Well, I'm about to buy a bunch of eyelashes and weaves at wholesale, and I will be standing outside the happy hour. You can holler at me. I ain't taking no payment plans, but holler at your mans. You know.
I'm gonna come out of retirement, man. Get beauty products on the low.
If you're a hoe, you can get it on the low.
No placeholder. You got it, brother.
Yes, so yeah, I no, while I agree the environment is a factor, the women they are free beings and they do choose to make these decisions that they do. So it is in the end it is ultimately their decision, the outcome that they actually have to face. So it is what it is. But nevertheless, though, thank you for having me, Roger.
All right, Champ Car, you got the last word today. What you gonna do with it?
Okay, message to black women. Winter is coming and it's coming by real fast right now. So you better act up right now because it's going to be so cold and freezing. You don't know what to do after that. I'll land my plane there.
And y'all, I'm gonna close it out, and I'm literally gonna tell you, my goal of retirement is to be able to play Call of Duty. Ain't got no other goal. Unfortunately, as a single man with no children, I already got to make decisions daily on what I want to do for myself. So My only goal for retirement is to be able to sit back and play Call of Duty. I don't know how many hours I'm gonna play Call of Duty. I just know I'm gonna play it. Okay, I enjoyed it when I could play it, and I ain't have so much to do. But I have no goals that include women when I retire. I have zero, and that's just real talk. It could change, but if I don't get married, I doubt that it will. And I'm just being realistic. And I think a lot of the men are gonna end up kind of moving in this direction. But y'all have a good rest of y'all day. If you like some real content, y'all, you come here 9 a.m. Chicago time. We do this Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Chicago time. I will see y'all next time around. Long live the habitual. Excuse me. Long live the habitual line steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.